Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome back to the True Heel Heat Sports Entertainment channel where we are talking about everything that is Spider-Man 3. We've been talking about the Spider-Man series. We've finally reached our conclusion of the Sam Raimi trilogy. We're here to talk about Spider-Man 3. We took care of number 1. We took care of number 2. We're here to talk about number 3. This is the one we've kind of been building towards with all the fun conversations that we've been having. So we're going to get into it. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. And when I say we, of course, I mean myself, I mean Chase, I mean Sid. And how are you guys doing tonight, Sid, on this fine Thursday evening?
I can't believe this is the film that Chase has been glossing over and glazing over.
Chase.
Oh, that music, man.
Let us know how you're doing, but it seems as though you're doing pretty good.
Oh, an underrated classic.
So, Spider-Man 3, a interesting film. They went from one villain to 3 villains. I'm not 100% certain why they thought that was going to be a good idea, but I thought it was interesting that they wanted to try to get Sandman in a movie pretty much since the first one. And so they finally got to pull that off. But then studio stepped in and said they also were interested in the other villains being added in there. So we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to get into all of it. And as we do, guys, as always, remember to hit that like button, comment, let us know your favorite parts of Spider-Man 3. Let us know where you think it fits in the Raimi trilogy. And as always, if you are not subscribed, please do, because we have all these videos. We talk about Spider-Man, we talk about other TV shows, other movies, TV shows, music, all sorts of things here on the True Heel Heat Sports Entertainment channel. So guys, let's get into it. Let's start by, we talked about the cast coming into Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. So let's do a little bit of our cast. We have obviously some subtractions. Alfred Molina no longer with us, but we gain Thomas Hayden Church as Flint Marko / Sandman. We gain Topher Grace coming off of a ascending career, one of Hollywood's youngest and brightest at the time. He's going to step into the role of Eddie Brock. And we have a returning Harry Osborn now being more of a villain from what we saw at the end of Spider-Man 2. So, Chase, what were your thoughts of the addition of Thomas Hayden Church and Topher Grace?
I did not like when I heard Topher Grace was in this movie, and especially when I heard he was Eddie Brock. I'm like keep in mind, Eddie Brock in any form of animation, comics, jacked, fucking big dude. Like that's what makes Eddie Brock Eddie Brock. And you're getting Eric from that 70s show to be Eddie Brock? The fuck are we doing now? Thomas Hayden Church. Look, Sandman, for me, when I read Spider-Man comics, didn't know much about him. But I was excited because I was like, you know what? This is I'm trusting the process here. Two out of 2. You threw 2 home runs with your last villains. Granted, Green Goblin's a very popular villain, same with Doc Ock. But I'm going to trust the process with this one, and it's a good actor. So I'm going to trust the process with this one as the actors of the main villains. We all know James Franco's great. So, especially in these Raimi trilogies, he's been good. But when I saw Topher Grace and I saw Eddie Brock, I was like, why? Like, what are we doing? There was not some big buff dude you could have asked, find. What was Channing Tatum doing at this time? Was he doing Step Up? Could he not do this movie?
Actually, he was doing Step Up.
Fucking asshole, bro. Stop finding your future wife and go film Spider-Man 3.
Imagine a world where Channing Tatum became Eddie Brock and then never turned into Gambit. Like there never was those conversations about Gambit. But Sid, what were your thoughts on the additions to our cast of Hayden Church and Topher Grace?
Well, me myself, I am a long time That 70s Show fan. And, I am a fan of Topher Grace as Eric Foreman on That 70s Show. However, him being casted to be Eddie Brock was just like, what? Eddie Brock, Venom, right? Venom? He's Venom? I was so baffled by that decision. And yeah, I even all these years later, 20 years later, watching this movie, I still can't get over that decision. Like it's
Mhm.
still there's still something off-putting. And then, like you said, the choice to go 3 villains, it really feels like they had the idea to do the 2 villains. They set up, Harry Osborn to be the new Green Goblin at the end of the second film. The Sandman, like you said, is something that they've wanted to do since the first film. That's why they had those scenes planned with him killing Uncle Ben and stuff. So that makes sense. I think they should have just stuck at Sandman and the new Green Goblin. And I think this film would have been better off for it because Venom just feels like an add on. It just feels like it's so patched
Well,
on. It feels like it is the studio's choice of putting him into the movie.
mhm.
They had like the first hour of the movie already made. It's not until like the second half of the movie that we
Yep.
really get him actually becoming Venom. Like,
It is funny because, like, they've often talked about or theorized what Spider-Man 4 would have looked like. And if they had ended this movie with, like, somehow the removal of the symbiote, and then we go, oh, okay, well, now it's going to find the new host, and that would have been Spider-Man 4, like a solo, just Venom versus Spider-Man, I think it would have knocked it out of the park. But yeah, interesting decisions. Chase, I think you have some information for us.
Yeah, so Spider-Man 3, SP3, I hate to break your heart. It was always going to have 3 villains in this movie. Venom replaced the Vulture. Vulture was actually going to be the main one, the actual main antagonist, Sandman as the dual antagonist, and then Harry Osborn as the anti-hero. So that was always planned. Black Suit was being very heavily discussed. And in fact, Sam Raimi just wanted the Black Suit to play into how he was portraying Peter Parker in this movie, because Peter Parker's an asshole in this movie. Like, I'm just going to say it.
He is. Mary Jane, you are safe in my book from LVP.
Yeah, I forgot how much of an asshole Peter Parker is in this movie. That's why he wanted the Black Suit. Then the producer guy, Aaron, whatever his name is, he goes, the Black Suit gotta have Venom. Sam Raimi's like, I don't want Venom. I just want to show the fact that Peter Parker's an asshole. Yeah, but people are gonna be disappointed if there's no Venom. And then producers were like, yeah, you gotta go with Venom. You gotta go with Venom. You gotta go with Venom. And then Sony's like, yeah, you gotta go with Venom. I mean, super popular. He has like so much toys being sold. Like Sony was looking at it as like, oh my god, if we don't have Venom in this movie but have the Black Suit, it's like in wrestling when there's like a mystery opponent, then it turns out it's like Danhausen comes out, and you're like, oh fuck, man. I'm like, what? I was hoping it was Chris Jericho. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how it is with the Black Suit. But like John said, Spider-Man 4, if it was like, hey, because there was talks of, if he did go with the Black Suit, he was going to do Spider-Man 4 where it's the symbiote trying to find a new host, and Vulture would have been the main villain in that movie. But the Scorpion, Matt Garrick, who also, becomes Venom in the comics, was going to be the new host for Venom in the 4th movie. He didn't want Venom at all in this movie. He wanted Vulture and all this other stuff, and then studio kind of forced it. And this is where Sam Raimi, he lost love for this movie, because I'm with you, Sid. The first hour, he had this planned. He knew what he was doing. He was cooking. And then, all of a sudden,
the whole movie falls apart in the second half.
Venom. Going Venom. Going Venom. They needed Venom. They need it because you can't do the Black Suit without Venom. I think you can, because they did it in the comics. They didn't have Venom for so many years on the comic people. But yeah, with the movie, when you do the Black Suit, you have to have Venom, unfortunately, and the movie hurts because of it, because of the addition of Venom, who I think is up there with the Dark Phoenix. Cannot be created at all on the screen. Yeah, I love Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy has done a great job with his shitty Venom movies, his acting. I love to hate the Venom trilogy.
I still haven't seen the third one.
I still haven't seen not one of them.
The third one is one of the worst superhero movies you'll ever see. It is very boring. It's monotonous. There's nothing fun about it. It's just annoying. But there's a cool fight scene at the end. That's it. Okay. But it's horrible. But Venom 1, Venom 2, especially Venom 1 when Tom Hardy's just talking shit to himself. I love that. Venom 2.
It is funny. It is funny.
I like
second one is hilarious because I don't think anybody really told Woody Harrelson what kind of movie he was in or what he was doing. And he's Carnage, and it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, Woody Harrelson was just like, I'll just play this as any other asshole role I've ever played in my life. Like, that's it. I was like, okay. But yeah, no, like Venom is with Dark Phoenix, where it's like, just stay away from the big screen. I don't want Venom in the Brand New Day or whatever. No more Venom.
You know Kevin Feige is itching. He's going to be like, what
yeah.
they couldn't do, Dark Phoenix. I'm going to do Dark Phoenix.
Especially if this is the start of a new trilogy for Tom Holland, he's going to end it off with Venom. Probably
watch Feige during Brand New Day. He's gonna like flex his mental muscle. He's gonna be like, I'm gonna have Jean Grey tease the Dark Phoenix, and wait, post-credit scene, Venom, Venom, symbiote in the Secret Wars. Spider-Man will return in the Secret Wars.
If there's one person who possibly could pull off either of those, possibly even both, it's Kevin Feige, because he has been in school when it comes to, he has been schooling people when it comes to making these movies. He's been in school learning all the way back to the Donner era of the X-Men movies. He's always been around these superhero movies. And much like Feige, we start off with Peter Parker in school. We see him going to answer a question, but it turns out it's one of our other new cast additions in Bryce Dallas Howard's Gwen Stacy. And we find out that Gwen Stacy is at least friends with Peter or knows him. Meanwhile, Peter is in our voiceover. He's talking about how popular he's become, how his life seems to be back on track. We see him being able to pull off different things and having that balance, being able to juggle everything, which was such a problem. It's especially in the second movie, but it started off in the first. And now he thinks he's at that point where he is comfortable enough to propose to Mary Jane Watson, and he's talking, like, we see him looking at layaway options for a ring, which is always funny for Pete and his general financial issues. But he decides to go see Mary Jane's show. He's there. It's the opening night, and he is present, something he wasn't able to pull off previously, but now he is. And we see the performance by Mary Jane Watson, which I found out, like I was doing a little research, Kirsten Dunst actually does sing everything that MJ sings in the movie, which I thought was cool. She lip syncs during the filming, but she sang it. It was pre-recorded. And we have a great moment where the camera's focusing on Pete in the audience and slowly pans up. And who is also there? Harry Osborn, who seems far more interested in Peter Parker than he is in the actual show. The show is ending, and Pete sees Harry, runs outside. They have an argument there, and Harry's basically like, you know that I hate you because of what happened between you and my father. You killed my father. Pete's, trying, it's this constant thing that has now been hanging over their heads for a while since the ending of the second movie. How did you feel about where we're picking up with Peter and seeing his life, seeing him ready to propose, and then this initial argument with Harry showing that while he may think everything is on the up and up, it may not actually be that way? Sid, we'll start with you.
Like Jay said, this first half of this film is pretty good because it's just following up from certain things. It doesn't seem that far removed from Spider-Man 2, whereas Spider-Man 2 felt and was said to be 1 year after Spider-Man 1. This feels like just a couple of months, if not weeks, after Spider-Man 2. So you could see that things are a little bit still touchy and tenacious between Peter and Harry not wanting to talk to him. I did like the little touch of when you hear Pete's perspective of Mary Jane on the stage, and then when they pan to Harry, you hear the voice getting more fainter, which is a foreshadowing for what the reviewers will say about her performance. So I like those little touches to the beginning stages of the film, and I like the Peter Parker voiceover beginning is just like so iconic at this point. It's become like the stuff of parody and meme culture at this point. So it was nice to hear it here when it was kind of a new thing for the films to have.
Chase, how about you?
Setting up Peter's ego in this one. Oh, everyone loves Spider-Man now. Everything's great in my life. This is awesome. I love this opening just because it's setting up the pride of Peter Parker. Because all the other ones, it's like he's depressed, he's sad, things aren't going well for him. But now things are great. He's got the girl, his Spider-Man is beloved, everything's going great in class. He's making money now somehow. I don't know how he's making money, but he's making money now. Like he's living his best life. And it's just like you're setting up the fact that Peter Parker just has this ego about him, which is like not Peter Parker at all. But like SP3 said, because he said the point I was going to say, when it panned to Harry and the voice fainted, I was like, oh my God, way to cook there, Sam Raimi. This was, you cooked there, man, because that was something that like I remembered. I didn't notice it the first time I watched, but when I got the DVD and I watched it, and then the voice, I was like, they complained about that in the review. Oh my God. I was like,
it's funny. Like in the first time you see it, like if you're watching it in theaters, all you're thinking is, oh, it's a movie making thing. Like we're dragging the sound out so we can raise the score, the actual instrumentation. So we're like, oh shit, Harry's watching. But in actuality, what's happening is that Mary Jane's voice is not carrying that far.
Yeah, so sad news about the director's cut on this one. It's Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire, and James Franco. So Tobey is very tamed here. I don't think he wants to. He is not talking as much shit.
I will say, because like we said, there's some issues with the Peter Parker character, but there's also issues with Tobey Maguire's performance. He doesn't feel it feels like he's checked out at this point.
Yeah, he was very much tamed. James Franco actually brought up the point that you and I were talking about, SP3, and Sam Raimi said, I didn't realize that. He literally said he did not realize that he did that. Frank was like, I like how you did that. And then Sam's like, oh, yeah. Didn't realize
that was
No, he did not. He did not realize he did that. And then
I know, but like him's like, I meant to do that. Oh, yeah.
And then Tobey just kind of grumbles, like, yeah. He's very in this director's cut, like he's not as snarky as he normally is on all the other ones when he's with his cast members. Like he's just like he says his quips, but he's not as like douchebaggy as I'm used to him hearing and say. Like he's not complaining as much like he normally does. Was very thrown off.
Well, speaking of thrown off, somebody that is not thrown off is Harry Osborn. He has a one-track mind, and he goes and we see the kind of, I don't want to call it a lair, but it's more like a lair laboratory, kind of like just area for that where all of the goblin stuff is in the penthouse, and he goes and doses himself with the goblin serum. He doesn't have like the same manic murderous reaction that poor Norman had, but it's definitely going to make some changes. We also see a hoverboard, skateboard glider looking thing, which okay, interesting. We're getting some upgrades to the goblin glider itself.
Cool, bro.
taking a little Back to the Future to inspiration. But we've got Peter and MJ in a park. He's created like a little hammock for them with the webbing, which I thought was really cool. They're watching shooting stars pass. They're making different wishes. Finally, they are headed out, but before they leave, we see a huge kind of meteorite strike super close to where they are. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, well, they didn't notice this?
Oh, like, you didn't hear it. You didn't hear it. You didn't see it. Like,
all right. Okay. Listen, if you're that in love, I guess you just ignore these things.
Hey, it happens. It happens to the best of us.
I mean, have you guys ever experienced an earthquake before? Because like I've experienced obviously all that living in California.
Yes, we've had earthquakes in New York before.
Yeah, so like you would feel this. Like I'm not even kidding. You would feel this. Like, how did you not feel this? Like the hammock would have shook and stuff. Like, what were we doing here? Like there was no little tremble, and Peter was like, "What's that?" And then Mary Jane makes like, nothing.
Maybe the hammock already was shaking. We don't know.
Maybe his spider sense was turned off on this one. He was just like,
yeah,
right now.
He's horny sense.
Yeah. But from the inside of the meteorite, a black goo-like substance emerges, and we all know what it is, but you know, the movie yet hasn't revealed what it is.
Venom.
Some kind of
has one of my favorite worst Eminem songs of all time.
What? That's one of the best Eminem songs. They're all
Venom.
Talking about, yes, absolutely.
I got with it.
Exactly. Listen. There was a stretch where like you needed an Eminem song on a movie about in a role that Eminem was originally approached to play. The same thing with Southpaw. They wanted him to be in Southpaw. He was like, "I'll do the song instead."
I am phenomenal.
You would have loved it if AJ Styles ever walked out to that one time.
I would have.
It would have been
Yeah.
a good song for AJ. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Other than that, what was that? His second W team? You don't want none. Rada 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 roo. Rada 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 hoo. I was like, what is this?
But Venom attaches itself to the back of Pete's motorcycle. Meanwhile,
Moped.
Meanwhile, we have an escaped convict running through the streets of New York, breaking into a house and looking for some food. Apparently he knows where he is, or he knows what this house is. He knows where clothes are. It turns out it's his old home. It turns out that it's Flint Marko, and he's on the run from the police, having escaped this prison. And he's just trying to reconnect with his daughter. He drops off all these letters that he had written to her that, if you look, it says delivery refused. So later when the mom is finds him in the kitchen and she's like, "You got to get the heck out of here," it's understandable. Like, oh, she was blocking him from being able to communicate with his daughter. And he's trying to explain, like, I'm not a bad person. I was just trying to get money to help with the daughter's illness. And the daughter is able to wake up. She hears the commotion. She comes outside. He does have a moment where he's able to talk to the daughter very briefly. And she gives him a locket, which is going to come into play a little bit later. But there is a reference to him having accidentally, intentionally, we don't know exactly, murdered somebody or killed someone in the process. So as we get from the Harry dosing himself to now, we know we have one villain in Harry Osborn, and now we're getting introduced to our second potential villain, or we don't know exactly what's going to happen with him yet. But Chase, what were your thoughts on this section of the movie?
Yeah, Harry getting into the theme. I'm surprised we didn't get like how Norman Osborn span around like a bunch of times. I'm surprised we didn't get no Harry Osborn monologue or like how much he hates Spider-Man type of thing. He just walks into the machine, walks out like he's Wolverine after getting adamantium. He's just like, look at my six-pack I've been working on. It's like, all right, James Franco, you're not Hugh Jackman. Calm down. And then this one, the Sandman stuff, like I will say, he's not the best villain, but I did like this portion. I do like, he has two really strong scenes in this movie. This one and the scene that's like shortly after. Yeah, those are like super duper good. But this was a really good scene and stuff. And I feel bad for the guy because like obviously we know what he did, but like once we learn more, like, we have to watch the rest of the movie to explain Sandman. Like that's the hard part about talking about Sandman instead of the other villains. You have to wait until the end of the movie before you can actually really talk about this guy because like it takes a while before he's like, Peter, it was me. Like, what are you doing?
But Sid, what were your thoughts on this and our introduction to Flint Marko?
Like I said, this is going very well at the start here. They're introducing the villains very well. They're giving you a layered character in Flint Marko and making him kind of sympathetic because he has a daughter and that he's kind of feels guilty for what he has done, but he's on the run now. He's trying to get away. So you can see that he is a conflicted person who's done something wrong, but is still kind of sympathetic. So I like those type of characters. And then the whole thing with Harry, I mean, I don't think James Franco was meant to be the new Green Goblin. I'll just say that. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
So, John, I will say, before Venom got introduced to this movie, the whole idea of why Sandman and Vulture would be teaming together, as you guys know, Adrian Toomer gets cancer and stuff, and he's dying and everything. But in this movie that originally what they were going to do, Sandman was going to team up with Vulture because Vulture lies to the Sandman that he can help cure his daughter's disease because he has a similar disease, when in reality, Vulture just wants Sandman to do his dirty work so he can get a cure for his own disease. So this was going to be a much older Vulture, not like a younger Vulture that we saw in Homecoming. This was going to be, he's on his deathbed and everything like that. And, you know, Vulture, he wanted to stay alive longer, but he had this grand idea where he wanted to kill Spider-Man. Like, he just wants to kill Spider-Man. Like, that's like that's what he wants to leave as his magnum opus before he leaves this world and stuff. But he needs the medicine, so but he's too old to do it himself. So he forces Flint Marko to do it. Marko steals the money, gets him the medicine that will keep him alive. And he goes, "What about my daughter?" He goes, "It was never about your daughter, you fool." And then he flies away and tries to kill Spider-Man. And then that was going to be our final fights.
So Vulture would have been played by like Michael Douglas or something.
Yeah, they actually had the actor. Let me see if I can pull up who the actor was playing for Vulture.
But while you're doing that, Pete went to go see Aunt May to talk to her and let her know, hey, I'm getting ready to propose to MJ. May is over the moon about this. She's like, oh, this is great. Like, I've always kind of wanted you guys to really be together, and this is a way to, this is how it's supposed to happen. This is wonderful. You guys are there. But Pete's asking her for advice and saying, how did you, did you know when you first, how did all of that happen? And May says, like, she points out to Peter, it's like, love is tough. Like, love is about sacrifice. And I wasn't sure immediately, but we took our time and we learned that we really did love each other. And so she feels as though he meaning Peter and MJ are there as well. And she helps solve the ring problem because she gives Pete her ring to use to propose to MJ. But whenever Pete has something good happen to him, something bad shortly follows. Because as Pete is leaving Aunt May, he gets attacked by none other than, well, the movie never calls him the Green Goblin. The movie never, basically the New Goblin, and I guess that's the best usage that we have. We don't have a scene where Jameson comes up with a name or anything for him, but Harry, the New Goblin, attacks, and this is a vicious fight back and forth. We see a lot of the advancements and new usages of CGI and stunt work and the different things that they're able to pull off. It looks visually really cool. It's a great chase sequence and a great fight. We have a little callback to the first movie when Harry throws the pumpkin bomb that shoots into the knives, and Pete just goes, "Man, I hate those things." And then all of a sudden, Harry throws like 6 more, and he's like, "Son of a bitch!" But we have a just like I said, a vicious fight between the two of these that culminates with Harry Osborn getting knocked off of the glider, having like 3 different head hits, and then crumpling onto the ground. Pete is able to rush him to the hospital, but it looks as though things are dire for Harry Osborn. Sid, what were your thoughts on this whole section? This is the first like big fight of the movie, the debut of New Goblin. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, it felt like this could have been an inciting incident, but it really isn't in the movie in the grand scheme of things. I think that this was kind of putting Harry and his story on the back burner and kind of trying to tell it in a different way than the kind of formal villains that we would get in Sandman and Venom. As a scene in a vacuum, it works really well. It's a lot of fun. You get to see Peter being Spider-Man without the suit. You get the whole dropping of the ring sequence, which is a lot of fun. You get the different additions to the suit that Harry has given, and then at the end you get Peter outsmarting Harry. In a vacuum, it works. Outside of the vacuum, this is just the start of the complete nuking of Harry Osborn as the new Green Goblin and making him into a fucking dork by the end of this movie. Because every time he tries to be the Green Goblin, he either gets hurt or he dies.
I mean, that's true. That is true. Chase, what were your thoughts on this?
So Ben Kingsley was going to play the Vulture, and
that makes sense.
Or Spider-Man 4 if we would have gotten Spider-Man 4. So this scene right here, a lot of wire work was done during this scene, and actually a lot of the fighting was improvised by James Franco and Tobey Maguire. They so pretty much they were just told let loose and stuff. And you are correct, Sid. They decided to change up the ending of this fight because the ending of this fight was supposed to be that Peter just narrowly escapes, and Harry, because he's so new to this whole goblin thing, and the goblin voice was going to talk to him, and he was going to fly away because he can't handle the voice in his head, and Pete narrowly escapes. Instead, they said, no, we got to change it because we have to add Venom to this movie. So Harry Osborn gets amnesia instead. So we don't get the Willem Dafoe voice.
We got to add Venom. Give Harry CTE.
Yeah, this whole movie gets derailed because we need Venom. Like, that's literally why. It's like, we need Venom. How do we get to Venom? Oh, so that's what really happened and stuff. Because Franco goes into detail how he was like kind of bummed that no one got to hear his Goblin voice in there. And Tobey said, "I'm glad I didn't hear it." That was one of the StatKing comments Tobey Maguire made. Sam Raimi said that he was proud of both actors, that they took a chance and that they had fun with this scene. And Tobey said that this was his favorite scene of the whole movie, besides the other stuff he did in the movie.
Besides the stuff he did.
No, because he said like 2 or 3 times in this director's cut, this is like my favorite scene. And I'm like, wait, which one is your favorite scene? Because he literally says this. And he goes, "This is my favorite scene." I'm like, what?
Now this is my favorite scene.
Yeah. Oh, wait till we get to the dance scene. He loved that.
Well, we get to one of my favorite scenes this entire movie, and it's we cut back to Flint Marko being chased, and I don't really understand, just why they thought New York has a military grade testing facility just randomly in the middle of any part of New York City. But they did think that that's what New York has.
Well, you guys don't have science labs and all this kind of...
No.
I mean, like, I lived there.
This must have been New Jersey or something.
Like, I lived in
Buffalo. This is Buffalo, right? Sandman lives in Buffalo.
Like, the amount of land, like the value of the land alone that this facility is on would be in the millions of dollars. But Flint is running, trying to escape from the cops, and he falls into this pit-looking thing that's filled with sand. A machine comes down, and they're starting to conduct an experiment. He tries to get out of there, but not only can he not climb out of the pit, but the machine itself, he is stuck inside. And in one of the cooler scenes, especially when I was a kid or young adult, I would say at this point, 2007. But when we're watching this movie, it's one of the cooler things that we saw, like the idea of the sand breaking up, going inside of his body and merging and bonding with his DNA, very similar to what happened to Peter with the spider bite. And then we get the scene of him like looking at his hand and it's melting away into the sand. And then a very emotional moment where he's trying to reconstitute himself. He's having difficulty. He sees the locket that his daughter had given to him. He's trying to reach for it. He's having problems. He's having difficulties. It's like really sad. Like why is this happening to him? But the love of his daughter and like the "I refuse to die here" kind of a mentality, he finds the strength to fully reconstitute himself, take the locket, and it's cool. Like as he's stepping forward, we actually just go back to a full flesh tone Thomas Hayden Church as Flint Marko, but Sandman has been born. Chase, what were your thoughts on the birth of Sandman?
Oh my god, this scene, the CGI still holds up. I'm just like, bro, what?
Yeah.
This was in 2007? I'm like, oh my god, it's so strong. Him trying to grab the locket, that just pulls on my heartstrings. I'm just like, oh my goodness. And he's just trying his hardest to reconform, but maybe Sandman's powers are also formed by love. Like we talked about in Spider-Man 2, maybe that's how Sandman gets his powers. The doctor, the scientists, though, what idiots. Like, you guys have PhDs, and you're like, oh, it's probably just a bird in the machine.
It's just a bird, it'll fly away.
Yeah, it'll fly away. Like, what the heck? And stuff. So, actually, the fun thing about Spider-Man 3, if you guys notice, a lot of scenes are trying to go at the screen and stuff. They're trying to get this in 3D. They just didn't have the right timing to make it 3D. That 3D movies did exist. There were 3D movies. That's why there's a lot of scenes where it's just like things are popping out at you. But they couldn't, for whatever reason, get this formatted in IMAX and 3D at the time in 2007 because IMAX was like new, fresh, sexy. You want to get it on IMAX, right? But they couldn't find a way to make it 3D as well. So that's why there's a lot of scenes where it looks like they're trying to like grab at you, or like during the last fight scene where they show the ring and the spinning blades and stuff. It's because it was supposed to be in 3D. It just never panned out.
It's gonna be Spider-Man 3D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look at that marketing.
Yeah.
But Chase, I'm sorry, Sid, what were your thoughts on the creation of Sandman?
Yeah, the doctors suck. Doctors are LVP candidates because they just let them. The cops ain't no better because they were just chasing them and chased them right into fucking an accident or making them into a monster. But I really thought, I really thought like the CGI and the filming of this was really well done, and it stands up 20 years later, and it gets you kind of emotional. It's one of the stronger scenes of the whole entire movie.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites of the movie. It's one of the things that constantly, like when I think of this movie, one of the scenes that always pops in my head is him reaching for the locket and not being
Yeah. How does this have better CGI than The Flash? Come on, man. Flashpoint. Like, how do you guys have shitty CGI? And this movie has like beautiful CGI. That was the thing. I'm like, bro, this was in 2007, and like I some superhero movies, I'm like, dude, because my brother, he does green screening and stuff. He works on stuff like that. Like that's what he does. And like he like when we watched Spider-Man 3, he would be like, dude, I can't even tell like when they green screened and did CGI. And he's like, but all these other movies and stuff, like when we watched Avengers Endgame, he's like, oh, I'm like, what's wrong, Reese? He goes, CGI's fucking terrible. And during the final fight, I'm like, can you just enjoy the final fight? Cap just said Avengers Assemble, and you're pissed off about the green screen. Like, what is wrong?
I think your brother really wanted them to make portals into the spirit world or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But just as Chase's brother is giving bad reviews for CGI in modern eras, you're getting some bad reviews here. And MJ is forced to deal with a bad review, which she takes over to Peter to talk to him about. He is listening to the police scanner. MJ is getting upset about him kind of not listening to her. And we get another glimpse of the ego of Peter Parker, where he's just like, listen, man, people hate Spider-Man all the time, man. Like, Jonah Jameson's always
like, it's going to be all right. I deal with it all the time, you know? People always give me bad reviews, and she literally tells him, what's the issue? She tells him, she was like, you're not listening. You're just so that you don't have to relate everything back to yourself. I just want you to hear how I'm feeling. And he just says, oh, well, there goes the police scanner. Gotta go.
Yeah,
go get a tiger. Go get a tiger.
Yeah, not gonna go give. And she's like, get the fuck out of here. But it's a classic, you know. I mean, men sometimes have to learn that when with women are expressing in dissatisfaction with something. Is this a listening conversation or a fix-it conversation? And Pete thinks it's a fix-it conversation. It's a listening conversation. But he then is going to head out because there's a crane they've lost control of a crane, and this crane is careening through an actual building where it just so happens Gwen Stacy is there doing some kind of a modeling photo shoot. Seemed kind of weird, but yeah. We're here to sell office phones and stuff. Like, all right, cool. But we have this crane that is breaking through the building, forcing everyone to kind of run for their lives. And we have Pete showing up to try to save the day. Meanwhile, Captain Stacy, we find out, Gwen Stacy's father arrives as well, and he's standing there. And then all of a sudden, Eric Foreman from That 70s Show shows up.
All of a sudden, the movie goes to shit.
To start taking photos. And I wrote in my notes, Captain Stacy meets Eddie, LOL. Because I will say, one of the funnier parts of this movie is when he's like, how do you know Gwen's? He's like, how do you know Gwen's up there? He's like, oh, like, you know, I can see her. He's like, oh,
my name's Eddie Brock, sir, and I'm dating your daughter.
And I'm dating your daughter. What the fuck? So Pete shows up. Pete meets Eddie, and he's like, who are you? Well, he's dressed as he's in a spider suit, but Spider-Man's like, who are you? Like, what do you guys say? And he's like, I'm the new photographer at the Daily Bugle, and Pete's like, but what about Peter Parker? And Eddie's like, he's a hack. We're gonna get rid of him.
Amateur. He's a little amateurish.
Amateur. What? But Pete is able to save Gwen, and then from there we move to Eddie talking to J. Jonah Jameson and looking to get a staff job. And at the same time, Pete shows up with his own photos of what happened at the crane. And we get a new wrinkle in the plan or a new wrinkle in the story where now we have these two guys, Eddie Brock and Peter Parker, coming together to butt heads because there's only one staff job available. And J. Jonah Jameson says, I'm going to give it to whoever can get a photo that proves Spider-Man is actually a villain and a menace, like I've been saying for 2.25 movies. But Chase, what were your thoughts on our introduction to Eddie Brock and there's this MJ and Peter, and we're getting more information about how communication is a problem.
Yeah, this was showing Peter Parker. He's the type of guy. You know when certain people are just bad luck, like they just never have anything going right for their lives. And so when they finally have like a good moment in their lives, they don't know how to be humble. Peter Parker has lost his humbleness at all. Like if this was Peter in the first movie, no, don't listen to that. MJ, I was sitting in that seat right there. I heard you just fine. You know what? Next show, I'm sitting in the back, and I'll give you an honest feedback about that. That would be him in the first movie. This one, what do you mean? Spider-Man gets shit on all the time. I mean, J. Jonah Jameson says I'm a menace and a piece of shit. Like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, everything's going so good for him. He just thinks no one can touch him. He's not humble. That's it. I know people like this that are just they've always had bad luck, and then they finally get good luck, and then they don't know how to humble themselves. And then when shit hits the fan again, they go back to being the same person they were. So he's not listening to MJ. He's just being a douchebag. So thus showing the pride of Peter Parker, which I love about the theme of this movie, is just like the pride of Peter Parker, acting like he's so cool and awesome. And even how he acts as Spider-Man, he's just acting all smooth and suave, and all of a sudden, like he's not as agile. Like he's trying to do stuff to look cool. Like he's not doing it in a productive way. Like it just feels like he's just doing shit just because I'm cool like that. And as we'll talk about with the future scene, he does do that, and it's one of the douchiest scenes of all time. But Topher Grace, Eddie Brock, I was so confused because as a little kid, I've always, keep in mind, I don't read when I'm a little kid. I'm not reading like, oh, who's going to be in the movie. I see fucking Eric Foreman from That 70s Show show up, and he says he's Eddie Brock, and I'm a kid in the theater. I'm like, Eric Foreman, what? I'm confused. I just don't understand because my Eddie Brock's like on steroids. Like he's like look, he's doing bench presses saying how much he hates Peter Parker. Who the fuck is this guy? Like what? By the way, did you guys see Raimi's jump scare in this one where the girl runs into the camera and screams at it and stuff? Raimi was very proud of this. He would not shut up about how much he loved this jump scare and stuff. But I also like in the Spider-Man 3 novel, the book, Peter actually has cameras set on auto timer, and he talks about how he sets them up with his webbing so that way he can get the best shots of Spider-Man. He talks about this in the novel. So when everyone wonders, how does he get these shots of Spider-Man? Well, he has all these cameras, and he sets them on auto timing, and then bam, it just goes.
And then he tells people that he climbs up on flagpoles.
Yeah, but this was a good scene, but it also just shows the ego of Peter Parker, and now the ego of him as Spider-Man. Like, it's just like, dude, like, just be Spider-Man, bro. Like, you don't have to act like you're some suave motherfucker.
Sid, how'd you feel about this?
There's a lot to unwrap here. Peter kind of making the save for Gwen, that makes sense. And I kind of remembered, this is when I started putting the pieces back together of this movie, is when I saw Gwen in danger. I was like, oh, Peter's gonna save her, then she falls in love with Peter and Spider-Man. Oh, okay. Now I know where it's going. But yeah, this is where the movie takes a downturn for me because this is where I know it's going. So Topher Grace being here, yeah, I was very confused because I'm a big That 70s Show fan, and like Chase, I wasn't like reading and up to date on who's gonna be in the movie. I think I maybe saw a trailer and saw that he was in it. I was like, oh, okay. But he said he's Eddie Brock. He's Venom. So yeah, this felt like just a tag along to get Venom involved and also get more of the Daily Bugle stuff. But this felt like kind of the most tamest J. Jonah Jameson performance that we've seen out of the three movies as well.
I mean, the part about the pills and the taking them in order, that part was funny.
That was funny.
I like that. But we see Pete walking on the street, and he doubles back because he sees a news alert that Spider-Man's going to receive a key to the city. And it's kind of funny because like the way it's sort of presented, it's like he didn't even know this was going to happen. I'm like, yeah, all right, that's kind of weird. But anyway, Harry, meanwhile, has been discharged from the hospital, and we find out that Harry is having some really bad amnesia, but a lot of it's short-term memory loss. So he doesn't remember anything pretty much around the point of finding out that Peter is Spider-Man and the death of his father, like all that kind of stuff, like that is completely gone from his memory. Pete is the one who helps get him back home. And during the conversation, when they're back in the penthouse, they're looking at a picture or a painting of Norman Osborn. They're discussing Norman, and he's asking, like, what was my father? Like, what do you remember of my father? What was my father like? And Pete's kind of has to lie and be like, he really loved you and this, that, and the third. And then we also find out that the Goblin powers, he may have short-term amnesia. He didn't forget how to use those goblin powers and the reflexes that come with it. Meanwhile, MJ shows up to rehearse and finds out that she has been replaced.
The worst play directors I've ever seen in life.
They're like, somebody was supposed to call her agent. It's like, did you do it? I thought you were going to do it. No, I thought I was going to do it. You thought nobody.
Like, all of y'all deserve to be fired. She should not be finding out like this.
Nobody has called her agent. She is being replaced in her role, and she has been fired, and she is really distraught, and she's looking for something to pick herself up because this was her dream. Like, this is what she's always wanted to do, and she's been working towards this for 2 movies basically, and now she finally has a lead role on Broadway, and it's been cut. Her legs are cut out from underneath her, and as she's leaving, a whole bunch of people start clapping, and at first she thinks it's for her, but then she realizes she is standing right around where the crowd is for Spider-Man receiving the key to the city. She shows up, and Pete's there, and they have a conversation, and communication being the problem that it is, MJ does not feel comfortable enough with where things are with her and Peter to tell him that she has been fired. And Pete's just like, yeah, it's going to be like, Pete just completely oblivious to what's going on around him, does not notice that his girlfriend is going through a crisis of confidence. On the other hand, we jump over to Gwen and Eddie, and it seems as though Eddie may have built up the relationship that he has with Gwen a little bit more in his mind than it is in Gwen's mind. Gwen doesn't seem to be like, oh, we're in a relationship.
It's just one night.
She's like, we had coffee. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, it's the most magical coffee I ever had in my life. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it changed my life. Pete is saying, hey, watch over there. That's where I'm going to swing from. And he leaves to change into Spider-Man. We see Flint on the run being chased by cops. We can already tell there's going to be some kind of meeting of these two storylines here. And Harry Osborn shows up, full of amnesia, but he's a nice guy now. He's just like, he's not as mean and grumpy as he was in Spider-Man 2. And because of that, because of the bond that they've always had, MJ feels comfortable enough to confide in Harry what's going on. And Harry is the one who is able to provide her the emotional support that MJ really is needing. Just a shoulder to cry on, somebody to lean on in these tough times. Sid, what were your thoughts on we get Harry demonstrating that he still has the goblin powers and this initial scene of the key to the city ceremony?
Yeah, this was basically setting the tone for one of the worst things a superhero has ever done on film in any movie. So yeah, this was kind of setting the stage. Pete still not listening, showing that he is a horrible partner in every sense of the word. You should know you need to listen to your partner and take note of the non-verbal signs. And he should have taken note of the fact that MJ was not looking like herself and asked her how she was doing. He was only worried about himself. He's a horrible partner. The like I said, the play directors, man, fire all of them. She should not be finding out like this. That was ridiculous. Don't get me started with that. And then Harry kind of giving the emotional support to MJ that she really needed. I'll be honest with you. Through 3 films, maybe it's the actors and actresses, but I'm team Harry and MJ over Peter and MJ.
What?
Peter and MJ are toxic as hell.
Yeah, I mean, that's because they do have a top 5 white scene of all time, and the kitchen scene. When we get to that, it's one of the most magical white people moments in film history.
Pete's like creepily taking photographs of MJ in the first movie, sort of like it's like there's like what's going on. Meanwhile, we find out now that Harry wrote her an entire play. But Chase, what were your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, I love how Harry when he realizes he has reflexes, he's like, hey, did I play sports in high school? And Peter's like, no, you did not. Like he's acting like because like he's like, dang, was I always this athletic that play football or something? It's like, no, you did not. You did not do this shit. Like, trust me, if I had the Goblin powers, you guys would be like, all right, we're here with MLB superstar, NFL superstar, NBA superstar. You guys would know I'll be cheating. But yeah, like the one thing is too is because like the thing about where it's so weird about Peter Parker in this movie is because like MJ has always been like always successful no matter what and stuff. I know we shitted on her on the first 2 reviews, but she's always found her way and it's through her own way. And she's also had a hard upbringing. Her dad was abusive, like saying that you won't amount to shit and everything. So Peter knows this. This was her next door neighbor. He knows what MJ went through, but yet he's totally oblivious because finally once in his life, people love him. People love Spider-Man. People love Peter Parker. Like, no, they don't love you, Peter. They love Spider-Man. They love who you dress up as to beat up petty crimes.
I feel like this relationship is superficial. I feel like this is Pete has like basically made her his dream girl in his head, and he doesn't really know her.
It's always especially in high school, the girl that you are chasing is never the girl that you thought they were going to be. That's what I always felt about high school crushes. Like, I remember I was crushing on this one girl in high school super hard. I turned down so many other girls. I'm not saying I had a bunch of girls going after me, but like there were some girls that were interested, and I was just like, no, I'm actually interested in her. And I finally dated her, and I was like, why the fuck was I chasing this woman? This makes no sense. And then the girl that I love, I didn't even chase her at all. We were just friends in college, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, cool. It just magically happened. It was like, that's the thing. In high school, especially when you're chasing a girl, guys, don't chase these women. The woman that you're trying to chase as your dream girl, that's not your dream girl. Whatever you make up in your head about her, that's not real. It's your imagination. It's telling you stuff. Yeah. It's making you feel better. And that's what Peter Parker and this MJ relationship is, where Peter Parker always saw MJ as like this awesome, wonderful woman. And she's shown you in 2 movies. She's not this awesome, wonderful woman. She's actually just a superficial woman.
She shows it in this movie.
Yeah, she shows it in this movie. And then you finally get this woman. You finally have everything. And you don't know how to be humble. You forgot who you were. And not even like, he's like, hey, I'll be up there. Like, she don't give a fuck about that right now. Like, what are you talking about? You'll be up there. No. Talk to her like you would in the first movie. Like in the hospital scene where you sitting there and be like, you know, Spider-Man says that you're one of the nicest people I've ever. Like, Peter Parker pisses me off.
Look in Mary Jane's eyes. You want to be a better man.
Yeah, exactly. What happened to that?
Well, you're referencing the first movie. And there's something that we're about to happen that also references the first movie because Spider-Man shows up to receive the key to the city. And before like any of the ceremony happens, this dumbass drops down. He's upside down, and all these people are like, kiss him. And then Gwen Stacy is the one who's like, I don't know about this. It's a little awkward. And Pete's just like,
go ahead. They'll love it.
He's like, my girlfriend's over there, but go right ahead.
Go right ahead. Yeah. They'll love it.
I thought nothing would stop Iceman and Kitty Pryde making out in front of Rogue. I was like, man, Iceman's such a douche doing that to Rogue in The Last Stand. This tops it. Nothing can top this. This is the worst thing I've ever seen a superhero do in a movie. This is horrible. Like, because it ruined. Your girlfriend's going through something. The one thing that she fell in love with you with, you do with another woman.
Yep.
I was like, oh
I was
my
like,
God.
this is unbelievable. Like, I've read a lot of Spider-Man comic books, and everything he does up until the kiss is very accurate for who Spider-Man is. Whenever he has a crowd, he loves to show off and stuff like that. But he is so pussy whipped by Mary Jane. He would never do this in the comic book. He would never do this in an animated series. This was so out of left field. It was just so left.
Dude, Black Cat will be all over him, and this motherfucker will be like, hey, Felicia, you know I'm with you. He goes, oh, come on, Spider, be with me. It's like, what? Like, and this guy all of a sudden, like, like, I feel like Wolverine could do like the worst scene on planet Earth, and I would still be like, nah, Spider-Man's the biggest douchebag for doing what he did. Like, I don't think anyone could talk. What else is like this superhero's a piece of shit moment than this scene right here? I can't think of one where it's like, man, this, yeah, exactly. Like I can't. Like, besides Iceman kissing Kitty when Rogue was there and Rogue was sad, and so she's like, I gotta go get the serum so I can touch him. Like, bro, we gotta talk about X-Men movies. I want to shit on the last one.
We'll watch X-Men before Doomsday. We'll watch
the Last Stand.
Wait, please, so I could talk about Storm being like, why do we need to have a cure? There's nothing wrong with us. Meanwhile, there's a blue ape man next to you going, I would like to look normal. And Storm's like, but I'm hot, okay, and I can change the weather. What's the problem?
I'm Halle Berry.
What does lightning do to a frog? The same thing it does to everything else.
But we've got Sandman who shows up because he is basically a cloud of sand at this moment, trying to escape from the cops. And Pete's like, well, I guess I got to go do something about this. And Pete gets involved, finds out that it's Flint Marko, and he's just like, who are you? Like, but they're having this fight. This is a fun moment where he's like, I'm the sheriff around these parts. I don't know if you know this. And Flint Marko's like, I don't give a shit who you are. I'm trying to leave. So they have this fight, and Flint is able to escape. We have a funny moment where Pete takes off the mask and like all this sand's coming out of it. He's just like, oh, what's going on? We get to the moment where Pete, because he had this fight with Flint Marko, apparently forgot that he made out with a woman that is not his girlfriend in front of his girlfriend.
And that's the time he wants to go see her, he's gonna ask her for her hand and
now he decides that he's gonna propose. So we have made it through this entire movie, and then randomly, all of a sudden, in perfect timing, just when we need him, who shows up but Bruce Campbell to have a fun little moment that pulls us out of the movie of in the sense of we are distracted from how much we don't want Pete to succeed in life right now. We're just like, what is like this guy needs to get knocked down a peg or two. And Bruce Campbell shows up. They have like their funny interaction as they always do. Pete plans out with him what's going to happen with the proposal, which I think is, well, I'll get to why it's hilarious. When he's like, I wanted them to play this song, and he's like, it's the band's favorite. So MJ shows up, clearly upset, and she's like, they're starting to get into it, and then randomly, Gwen Stacy shows up.
Oh, it was like the worst timing possible.
What's going on? And she comes over, and then MJ's like, wait. You actually know her.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Or it was just some random woman that you saved who happened to be the daughter of the police captain. But now I find out that it's your lab partner who you talk to her about me, but you don't talk to me about her. Ooh, we've got some problems. MJ turns she's refuses to be consoled. Pete is really confused as to what's going on. And they also play this scene for a little bit of laughs where multiple times it looks as though he's signaling Bruce Campbell to come over with the champagne, with the ring in the glass, and to start playing the music. But there's no proposal. MJ storms off. And they do start playing the song, which I think is hilarious because it's the song that MJ was singing in the earlier
Yes.
movie, the one where her voice didn't carry. Like that's his level of obliviousness. He's just like, yeah, I'll play the song that
Got you
that she's
fired.
singing, not knowing that like at the time he didn't know that she was fired, sure, but like he knew that there was the bad review. Like,
yeah.
why would you do this song of all songs? But what were your thoughts on all of this scene? Sid, we'll start with you.
Yeah, like you have made the protagonist in like an hour of this movie. You have made the protagonist into the most unlikable hero I think I've ever seen in live action film. Like I quickly like watching going up to this part, I was like reminded of why I hate this movie. Like I was just like, oh man, I was actually enjoying like the first 50 minutes, and then it got here, and I was like, oh yeah, this is why I don't like this movie. I was like, because after Peter kisses Gwen, I can't root for him. Like they tried everything, but I was like, they have so much shit they didn't address by the end of this film. They should not be getting back together. Like I was actively rooting against the ending of this film at this point, watching it again 20 years later.
Chase, how about you?
Unlike Sid, who hates this movie because
I was
Peter's
about
a
to say, you
piece
gotta
of
put your
shit.
defense attorney.
I love this movie because Peter's a piece of shit. Because I love how they focus on his ego, the pride it fills with the symbiote. It fits the mold of how the symbiote makes him even worse. I will agree with Sid though. He does not get justice. Like there should be no reason why anyone should forgive this guy. Or he doesn't ask for forgiveness, which I give him credit for. But no one should just be like, yeah, you know what, Peter, you're a douche this whole movie. I'm with you, buddy. Like I'm gonna sit on that. But I like the thematicity of Peter just being so fucking oblivious and like this movie really taught me like, okay, this is what I gotta do with girls. Like I just gotta tell. I date a hot-blooded Latina. I know. Hey, any woman that's in my life, and I don't know why. I make friends with women, and they are for whatever reason good looking, but I don't have any interest in them. So I tell her, oh yeah, you know. My one manager, my one boss, blah, blah, blah. She knows who they are. And so that way when she sees them, she's like, oh, okay. I know how my boyfriend is. It's cool. She doesn't care. She knows because I tell her, Peter Parker, you're going to be telling MJ about Gwen Stacy, especially how beautiful this woman is. Like, what are you doing?
I've been with a hot-blooded Italian for 7 years. I just got rid of all my good-looking female friends. Like that was the best route for me to go.
I don't know why SP3. I try, but then they just come to me. It's just like, oh, I can't help it. Like they just.
I changed my number.
It's hard when you work with them. SP3. They're just there. Like they just come talk to me. I ignore them.
Sid says he changed his number. Pete was wearing a mask, and he was like, "Yeah, no, you can still kiss me."
Yeah, exactly. But no, like the one thing I love about the scene when he's like talking to himself, trying to like say like how he's like, oh, how did that get in there? Oh, this is great and stuff. Like he's thinking like how this would go and stuff, and it's just utter disaster for Peter Parker, utter disaster, and not knowing how MJ feels. Like this is like just like how like be humble, man. Be humble. This is what happens when you're not a humble person. This is what happens. The pride before the fall. Peter Parker's too prideful in this movie.
Pete tries to call Mary Jane, but she doesn't want to listen. She doesn't want to answer the phone. He's leaving a message. She goes to pick it up. There's a cross lines, miscommunication, classic case of it happening. But there's no rest for the douchebaggy because he is called down to the police station along with Aunt May, and then we are told, or they are told, we see their reaction as they are told, that Flint Marko, who is this escaped convict, is the real perpetrator of the murder of Uncle Ben. And Pete loses it. He's not doing well. He's not doing well whatsoever. He has potentially lost his girlfriend and kind of like starting to come to grips that he did something wrong, or that he at least needs to figure out what's going on. He now gets this piece of information. We see things of what happened with Uncle Ben's murder, but obviously there's nobody there. So this is a sort of unreliable narration. It's at least Pete maybe imagining what he thinks happened. And as a result, Pete is running, and he's only listening for things that have to deal with Flint Marko. He is ignoring other calls for help, which is interesting because that's, it's with great power comes great responsibility. He is shirking the responsibility, and it's interesting because it's related to the person who told him that or who taught him that.
Yeah.
And MJ shows up because Aunt May reached out to her and told her about this thing that was happening. She shows up and they argue, and Pete refuses to listen, and in essence is just like, you got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I know what I'm doing. I don't need your help. And she's like, everybody needs help. Everybody needs it, which is this refrain of the movie. And it's Pete being like, I'm too cool for school. Like, my ego is like, I can do anything. I am Spider-Man now. And we see a sort of like, not montage, but like a quick run through of multiple times where he's just like standing there staring at the scanner, listening to these calls. Nothing happens. So finally, just tired and overwhelmed emotionally from everything that's happening, he lies down to take a nap or to go to sleep. And that's when Venom strikes.
Venom.
The symbiote, which, I mean, if people had forgotten was in this movie, I don't blame you. It hadn't been seen since like the very beginning. All of a sudden shows up, and we get this great scene of it crawling towards Peter. And then probably the thing that most people remember from the movie whenever they do think about Spider-Man 3, the image of Venom like latching on to Peter's body and climbing up and then engulfing him. And then when he comes to, we get our first shot of Black Suit Spidey, symbiote Spidey, in the reflection of a building. We don't even know how he got there. We don't know how much time has passed. Nothing like that. What were your guys' thoughts on the debut of the Black Suit and the revelation that Flint Marko may have been responsible for Uncle Ben's death? Chase, we'll start with you.
Yeah, because Peter, once he learns that Flint Marko, and he's seen Flint Marko and everything, he is irrational. Like, he's not thinking with irrational thoughts. He's irrational. Like, why is this guy still around then? You should be getting him off the streets and stuff. Like, he's freaking out. And that's not how Peter Parker would have reacted back in the day. So now he's very emotional at this time. And then MJ, unlike Peter, this whole movie is coming to dare to support him. And the one line you forgot when, she brings up the fact that, I thought you murdered the guy that killed Uncle Ben. He goes, he fell. I told you that. And stuff. And that's what really got him pissed, because like that's what made him really mad at MJ, which I was like, okay, MJ, you didn't have to bring up that part. But
she didn't say murder him. She was like, you don't want to make a mistake like you did last time.
Yeah, that's true. And he goes, I did not do that. And he got all mad about it and stuff. But
because in his head, when he's thinking about it, he's having like images of him pushing the other guy out the window, which didn't happen. So I found that interesting and a nice touch to kind of show his psyche at this point.
Yeah, so Peter's just being very irrational at this point. But the symbiote scene, great stuff. And you're right, John, they did forget about this, because remember, there's a thing called reshoots, and Venom was added for extra money. So Sam Raimi, as SP3 said, yeah, this movie felt different for the first hour. It was different. And then Venom had to come in. And Tobey Maguire hated the goo that they used for Venom. They actually used goo for this and stuff. So he lied there in bed as they were spreading the goo on him with wires. So this was something that they used a wire trick on. If you get the Spider-Man 3 collector's DVD, which I do have, by the way, I have all the Raimi trilogy collector's DVDs. I do. I have all of them. But they show the scene. They show the scene. They show how they it's like a ventriloquist, like a puppet, and how they put the goo all over him. And Tobey's just sitting there like so uncomfortable as this is happening and stuff. And it's actually real goo that they put on him and stuff. He had to shower. He said it took like 2 hours for him to wipe it off of him after the shoot and stuff. But the black suit in this movie, I love how simplistic it is. It is so clean. Like, this is like, oh my God, I know there's comic fans.
It doesn't have the white label on it. Oh my God.
Shut up. It's clean. I don't care. I'm a comic book fan and I'm not crying like you guys. Stop. It's nice. It's clean. It's simple. It fits the Raimi suit.
Yeah.
Stop whining. Like, come on.
Sid, what were your thoughts on the culmination of the black suit? We finally get our black suit shot and the debut of a Venom symbiote, Spidey.
I like the scene at the police station tying back to the first film and having some type of different connection outside of Norman Osborn, which was used in the second film. They had to find another way to kind of tie back to the first film, and they did that here with bringing Sandman and revealing that he was the killer of Uncle Ben. And they brought out more of the aggression of Spider-Man, kind of showing that he's getting angry. And of course, the symbiote was going to take advantage of that. So love the scene, how it's shot. It looks great. It comes off very well. It still stands up 20 years later as well. And then the black suit Spider-Man, man, it was awesome. When we first saw the trailer for this movie and you see black suit Spider-Man, you got excited. You got hyped up. I think that is why this movie has the legacy and the reputation that it has, is because not only was it the third film after two instant classics in Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, it was all this hype of, okay, they're going to culminate the whole trilogy. Then you saw the trailer and it had black suit Spider-Man. You got Venom in it. You like, oh man, this is about to complete the greatest superhero trilogy of all time. And then you get this movie.
Yeah. It is for people who were really hyped to get black suit Spidey. It could be a bit of a letdown.
Did you guys try the symbiote Whopper at Burger King when it came out?
I didn't even know that existed.
I did not.
No.
There was a limited run of a black Whopper. It was spicy. It was spicy. Like the bun was spicy.
Spicy.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But we've got Pete takes a piece.
John, you didn't talk about the score. The score that I love. The da 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 da. The music that plays. Oh my god, it's so good. Cooking. I love that.
Why is he so excited?
I love this song, bro. It's when I feel like I want to be an antagonist at work. I put my earbuds in and I just play the Black Suit Spider-Man 3 theme before I start causing some havoc at work. But I feel like when I hear some work gossip and I'm like, do I want to get involved? Nah. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, this would be fun. And I'll go, da 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 da. I'm like, I'm in the mood. And then I walk on over. Hey, you know what I heard? And I start some shit.
Well, Pete takes a piece of the symbiote to Dr. Connors, who we have not seen since that opening scene. And Connors is looking at it underneath the microscope. He's like, this is some weird shit. Like, what is going on? He's like, this is all that you have, right? Like, there's nothing else. And Pete's just like, I don't know. There's could be. Yeah. Anyway, he goes and is continuing to listen to the scanner. And finally, the scanner, as he enters his apartment, tells him what he wants to hear. They've spotted Flint Marko. So he gives chase, but this time he has to make a decision. Which suit are you going to wear? And he puts on the black suit. And we have the first time where Pete's going to interact with a criminal or a villain in the black suit. Eddie Brock is there. And we're starting to get the new aggression from Spider-Man, because Spider-Man goes and breaks Eddie's camera, to which Eddie pulls out a little smaller one and keeps taking shots. But the two of he is chasing Flint, who was, again, robbing a bank. Very common theme in these Spider-Man movies. And he is trying to escape with some cash. He goes down into a sewer. Peter gives chase. There's some great fight sequences here. I really loved how they had him shoving Sandman's face up against the subway car, like and breaking off pieces of it. But we have a moment where Pete's like, telling him, like, did you, when you thought about what happened with Ben, and we can kind of see like some remorse from Flint Marko about everything that happened. But Pete is too in his feelings, and his feelings are being manipulated already by the symbiote, that he cannot see that there is something more happening here. Yet again, Pete is missing. It's only on a surface level, everything that's going on around him. And we get a kind of the thought might be, how would Peter even if he wasn't black suit, like just a regular Spider-Man, how would he beat somebody like Flint Marko? Well, sand, once it gets wet, can clump together, and it's a little bit easier to deal with, but it's also harder for the sand to move around. And that's what happens. Flint falls into a basically like a water pit sort of thing, and deep down in the bowels of the New York City subway system. And Pete decides to rip open a pipe. And some great scenes where it's like now we're it sort of flips in that Flint is now the hero, so to speak, or he is the victim, and Peter is the villain inflicting this on him. And as the fittings are shooting off of the pipe, we have like the Raimi jump cam like at Flint's face, like, and it's like this, oh shit, something's terrible is about to happen. And sure enough, the water spews out, and Flint, as far as we know, is being killed. And the idea that Peter would do this, we could argue that the guy tripped and fell the first time with Ben, and he thinks he pushed him and all that kind of thing. This is willful choice. You're choosing to do this. Sid, what were your thoughts on the interaction here, this fight, and our debut of like what Black Suit Spidey can do?
I thought that this was some of Tobey's best acting of the film, as far as like the emotions of the Spidey and how the symbiote was taking advantage of his aggression and his feelings towards Marko here. And I thought that Marko did well. The CGI doesn't hold up too well in the fighting in this scene, but as far as like the emotions, the dialogue, and the message of seeing Spider-Man overwhelmed by his hatred for the Sandman and wanting to kill him and thinking that he has killed him, I kind of knew even when I was watching this when I was 18 years old. I was like, yeah, the water's probably gonna go to like some outdoors somewhere, and he can get some more sand. He's still alive. I was like, this is not over. We're only halfway through this movie. It's not over. So yeah, and this felt like kind of giving Sandman a break to put more focus on the other villains, which it just feels like this movie is always juggling. Instead of just going through a nice flow, it's always like juggling every story and character that it has, instead of feeling like a coherent story that naturally brings people in and out of the narrative.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It feels very disjointed because of just how much they were trying to get done, much more than they needed to. But Chase, what were your thoughts on debut of Black Suit Spidey, the fight with Flint, and the potential murder of Sandman?
By the way, Tobey Maguire, one of his favorite scenes of the whole movie, he said. And as he was talking about the subway scenes and stuff. But yeah, no, it shows that, like, if you notice when he leaves as the black suit, he's more aggressive leaving the apartment. He doesn't have the same fluidity as he did as when he was red suit Spider-Man. So I like that he's just a little bit more aggressive. He's aggressive towards Eddie Brock. He breaks the camera and stuff. And Eddie, he takes like a nice little slide shot. We'll see what that leads to later on. But then the fact that he thinks about the water, but what would Spider-Man do if he was wearing the red suit? He would just sprinkle a little bit of water and, try to make it where Sandman's easy for him to web up, and then maybe talk to him, like just do a little nice little talk where we're going to have a conversation about what happened. But he was showing the intent to kill. Like, and that just shows like that's not Spider-Man right now. This guy really was trying to kill the Sandman and tried his best. Now, just imagine, like, this leads to Vulture. He's watching this on a secret camera, and he goes, "Damn it, that Marko! I knew I shouldn't have trusted him." That would make more sense, but of course we have to get Venom in the movie, so that did not happen. This was I think right now it still holds the record, the most wasted water in one take. 40,000 gallons of water they used.
No way.
Yes, 40,000 gallons of water. Yes. They used a dump truck dump load to dump load all that water and stuff. So because the pipes are all CGI. So 40,000 gallons of practical water wasted. Could have been used for something else, Sam Raimi, but nope. So
could have been saved for almost 20 years later to be used in data.
You guys notice that Sam Raimi's back to his old ways. 2 night fight scenes, baby. He's like, all right, I'm back to my old way. These daytime fight scenes, fuck them. I'll give you one, not even one half. But here is the nighttime fight scenes. We are so back.
Well, if we are so back, it's also because we are gonna get to Chase's favorite part of the entire movie. MJ takes a job as a waitress / singer, and in order to both, I guess, be congratulated that she did find a job, but also be commiserated with that she is one step being pulled away from her dream. Instead of calling Peter, she calls Harry. Meanwhile, Peter is trying to call her. But we have the scene where MJ asks Harry if she can hang out with him just to talk. And Pete, while he is going through it, and as Chase alluded to, he does the hair thing, right?
I'm being dead serious. So I had long hair at this point in time. After this movie, I went into the bathroom and in my hair. I told Maguire after the movie because I thought it was.
You need to tell us that.
I don't care. Look, when you're on YouTube,
You could have kept that to yourself, bro.
No, when you're on YouTube, you got to make people laugh. I don't care if I get laughed at. It's all right.
But Harry goes, yeah, sure, you can totally come over. He's got a funny moment where he's talking to the butler, and he's like, do we have any food in here? Like, how does food work? Like, how does any of that shit work? And the butler's like, food? Like, yeah, I mean, what do you want? He's like, get food. So we have the cooking scene where they are making omelets, and he tries to flip the omelet and gets a little messed up. And we also have a scene where MJ gets to read the screenplay that Harry wrote for her back in high school, and she's like, "Yes, I will accept this part of in this role in the screenplay." And they stare into each other's eyes, and they both lean in, and suddenly they are kissing. And MJ, kudos to MJ, because she realizes, one, she should not be doing this in general because she does have a boyfriend.
Kudos.
Two, she's
Kudos.
like, hold on. And two, she's like, this
like
man has amnesia still. We see he's got amnesia still. He's still not like
she's taking advantage of a dude with amnesia.
That's why she's saying. That's why I'm saying kudos. Like she realized what she's doing.
How do you remember that he wrote the screenplay, but you couldn't remember if he played sports in high school? I don't know. Kind of inconsistent.
But so that she decides that she is going to leave, and this causes Harry to just be like, what's going on? What is life? What is happening to me? And as a result, who shows back up but the Goblin? Norman Osborn appears to his son in a hallucination, tells him to remember me, tells him to avenge me, and then everything comes flooding back to Harry, and he's like, oh shit, we've got some things to do. MJ arrives back at her apartment. She is going to listen to her voicemails, which we know Pete has been trying to call her. And suddenly, out of nowhere, New Goblin shows up back to 100% and tells her that if she wants to live, she wants Pete to live, he's going to have to do exactly what he says. Chase, you have been dying to talk about the cooking scene.
Dude,
so lead us off on this one.
It's a top 5 white person scene of all time. I remember I was watching this movie with one of my good buddies that does YouTube, the MJ Take. He talks about Titans football, and we were watching this movie together, and he said, Chase, is this what white people do? And I'm like, yes, this is what white people do, MJ. We do this shit. Like, this is up there with the proposal white person scene. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, this is what we do. We do this. Me and Steph, we'll be flipping the omelet sometime, and I just think to myself, wow, what can I do better next time when flipping that omelet? I don't know. That's what Triple H would say about it.
Do y'all dance the twist in y'all kitchens?
Yeah. We play whatever music that does not fit our culture. We play this and we start dancing. It's great. But I absolutely adore this scene. I think it is hilarious for all the wrong reasons. I love that Harry has this chat GPT. Dude, this guy is so conniving. I bet you he found AI before AI, and he's like, write a screenplay for Mary Jane Watson, and then they're on he printed this out. Like, I'm being dead honest. Like, they didn't write this in high school. Get the fuck on out.
Yeah, I don't trust him. He barely did homework in high school. Why would he do a screenplay?
And then this guy also too couldn't even remember if he was throwing baseballs or footballs in high school. He was like, "Oh, was I always this athletic?" Like, come on, man. Like, he didn't know this and stuff. But yeah, MJ once again showing her bad habits, being superficial, like, oh,
cheating on her boyfriend.
Yep, cheating on her boyfriend again. Oh, what else is new? You know, like every movie she cheats on her boyfriend or fiance. It's just like
it's true.
Clockwork.
Every one of these movies.
It's clockwork with this woman. But then him getting the memories back felt so random out of nowhere. Like, it was just
so rushed.
It was just like there's no build up to it. Like, I felt like there could have been a better emotional scene for it. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he should have gotten his memories back when like Peter was like being a douche, and then like, you know, when he gets the bomb thrown at him and stuff. I feel like it should have happened there, where he goes, "I've always known who you are," and he goes, "Harry, yeah, it's me, Pete." "No, you're Spider-Man, you piece of shit." And then like he tries to throw a bomb, and then that would have made more sense. This was just like, and then this whole like Harry wants MJ. Like, why the fuck is MJ afraid of? Dude, Spider-Man beat the Green Goblin. He beat fucking Doc Ock. Like, you've seen him fight Doc Ock. What makes you think that? Oh shit, I gotta make sure Pete doesn't die to the new the fuck? Why you? Huh? New Goblin?
Because it's your friend. It's his friend. He won't hurt his friend like he hurt all those other people you just said.
Sid, what were your? Do you have any thoughts on the cooking scene?
I enjoy watching white people in their natural habitat, dancing off beat and doing their mayonnaise and Miracle Whip and other white terms that I'm Barry Manilow, skateboarding, Karens, the suburbs, country clubs, tennis, golf, all these white people. Taylor Swift.
Hey, well, Taylor's for everyone, bro.
No, she's for y'all. She's for y'all. I've never met a black person that.
Oh, really? I saw a bunch of them at the Eras tour when I went.
Well, that's all fine and dandy. That's in California. So.
That's in California.
The melting pot of USA, California.
Well, there's something else.
You know what was funny? One time I went to a friend's house, and so like we were cooking eggs, and then he was so surprised that I was actually seasoning my. No, he was like, "Wait, you're actually like seasoning your eggs?" I'm like, "Yeah," you know. And he was so confused that I was like putting like garlic powder, chili, salt, and pepper in them. He was like so confused that I was doing that. And I was like, what do you do? Just cracked it. I was like, what do you do? He's like, I just cracked the egg and put it in there. And I was like, no,
you're doing it all wrong, man.
I always get compliments for that. Like, whenever they see me seasoning, like people will see me season something, they're like, oh, you're a white person with culture. And I was like, okay. I was like, technically, I'm mostly Asian with Polynesian in me, but
he's a culture cracker.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I always remember at work. So at work, at my old office job, they brought in chicken one day, and they didn't season the chicken because we had mostly white people that worked at this job. And then I grabbed pepper and salt, and I started seasoning. And then my one coworker goes, "Oh shit, Chase, you actually season your shit? Good on you!" And I was like, "What does that mean?" Like I was so confused. Nope. I didn't get it.
Nope.
Just know that, if you're ever back in New York and I'm there, you can season whatever. I love seasoning all my food. I do not like it where all my food. Anything that's plain to me is disgusting. The only thing I like plain, I don't know. I don't like anything plain.
Thought you were about to say like oatmeal.
Huh?
Thought you were about to say like oatmeal or something.
No, I get some cinnamon, some sugar in that.
Like the most blandest thing possible.
I need honey in there and everything like that.
Yeah, honey,
blueberries. Yeah.
You know
actually, cereal. Does milk and cereal count as seasoning or something? Because I don't like milk and cereal. I eat cereal.
What?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, I just eat the cereal.
That was also something you didn't need to tell us.
I told you.
Yeah,
this
that was
before.
something you didn't. You ain't need to tell us that.
Wait, you just eat the cereal dry?
Like
Yeah.
I understand with like Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, it's Frosted
like-
Flakes. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's
Yeah,
what you
that's-
mostly.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
fine.
that's my favorite cereal. So I just eat
Yeah.
Frosted Flakes plain. Yeah. No,
That's-
like if it's Honey Nut Cheerios,
That's kind of like popcorn to me sometimes. I get like a bowl of Frosted Flakes and I'll watch a movie.
yeah, like I like Frosted Flakes by itself. I don't like
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat cereal like plain without milk or anything like that sometimes, but I'm not like putting it in a bowl. If I'm putting it in a bowl, I'm putting milk in there.
yeah, Frosted Flakes I don't put milk. All the other cereals I do. I just don't like it with Frosted
Okay.
Flakes. But Frosted
Okay,
Flakes is
that's
the only
fine.
cereal.
That's
No,
a little bit
Frosted
more
Flakes.
normal. It's a little bit
Yeah,
more.
Frosted Flakes is the only cereal I eat because like I used to eat Lucky Charms, but I never actually ate the like actual cereal. I just ate the marshmallows. Like an idiot.
I eat Frosted Flakes with milk and then I dash some sugar on top of the milk. It tastes bomb.
You know what? Actually, toast. Sometimes I do like just like the bread without anything on it. Like I just like the toast itself.
Nah,
Like,
I can't eat toast like that.
Yeah,
You gotta have some butter or some jelly. Come on.
Yeah, no. Sometimes I just like it. It's just like nice pure carbs. So I'm not putting like some extra preservatives on there.
This dude is so white. He said preservatives.
Yeah, preservatives. Yeah, for the carbs. What the
I'm still thinking. I'm like, how do I transition this to eating Harry meat up in a coffee shop?
Maybe Peter had some black coffee.
Well, you know something that people put honey in
Tea.
is coffee and tea, and that's also something that white people drink: coffee and tea. And sure enough, Pete and Harry meet up in a coffee shop, and Pete is really like he's trying to figure out what's going on with MJ. Now he's finally trying to figure out what's been bothering his girlfriend the entire time, and Harry is there to tell him that that she's been going through it because he's so confused. He's like, she broke up with me. She called me. She wanted to meet up. I go to this bridge. She brought flowers for her. It was randomly a bridge in Central Park that didn't have any other people on it. That part alone was weird. I was like, all right. So she breaks up with him, and then he's talking to Harry, and Harry's like, yeah, man, like she lost her job. Pete's like, she did what now? He's like, oh, he didn't tell you? Took a job in a waitresses and singer jazz club. And Pete's like, what? Say what now? And Pete's finding out that there's been a lot going on with MJ that he doesn't know about. And then MJ told him that the reason why she was breaking up with him is because there's another guy. And Harry says, I'm the other guy. And Pete's like, this motherfucker. But Pete decides he's gonna be, he's just gonna storm off and leave. And we get the famous, one of the most gift things from this movie, where Pete turns around and looks at Harry in the coffee shop, and Harry looks over his shoulder and gives him the wink, and then Pete's like, oh shit, this motherfucker is back. And then a bus passes by, and all of a sudden, abracadabra, this dude's just gone. I was like, wait a minute, where did he go? How did they pull this off? So Pete,
just imagine he's hiding underneath the table. Hey, waitress.
He comes to the waitress. He's like, "Is he still there?"
When he's gone.
Are you okay? You said the pie was delicious just like a minute ago. Yeah. I'm just hiding from my friend real quick. We're playing a game of hide and seek.
So we get Pete decides to he's like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna go beat the shit out of this guy. So he goes and he puts on the black suit and he shows up. He's got the black suit underneath his regular clothes, and he goes there to talk to Harry. We talk loosely here, and it turns out no, they're just gonna have an old-fashioned fight. And Harry's got a great line here. He's like, I protected you in high school. Now I'm gonna beat your ass. And Pete's
I'm gonna
like,
beat your little ass.
And Pete's like, if you can. So they start fighting. And we get the scene where they get thrown into the goblin lair laboratory section of the penthouse. And we really get the viciousness that is now coming out of Peter because of just everything. I mean, even if it wasn't for the symbiote, like there's an argument that he could do this on his own, which is kind of the point of the movie. It's saying that the symbiote's really only enhancing the feelings that you are already feeling yourself. It's also removing the inhibitions. And because those inhibitions are removed, when Harry goes to throw a pumpkin bomb at Pete, as Pete's like, fuck this chump, I beat his ass, and he's walking away, the pumpkin bomb sailing through the air, Pete doesn't even think about it. He just turns, webs the pumpkin bomb, and throws it right back at Harry, and it detonates against the right side of Harry's face. It's not a good look for Harry Osborn in this moment. What were your guys' thoughts on this? Sid, we'll start with you.
This is really kind of turning things up, and this feels more like the inciting incident, but it's still not. So it's kind of weird. But yes, this felt like a big moment of the movie where it felt like another turning point. But yet again, it's just another example of how much they have fucking nuked Harry Osborn and this new Green Goblin character. The second time, the next time after he got clothesline and gets a amnesia, the next time that he's actually in Green Goblin mode, he gets a fucking bomb blown up in his face. Like, how many times are you going to tell me he's a fucking dork in this movie?
Every time. Because his plan backfires. Because the whole point was, Peter wouldn't hurt Harry Osborn. And he goes, you know what? Fuck this guy. He ruined my relationship. I'm going to go fuck him up now. Like,
But Chase, what were your thoughts on the fight?
Oh, it was good. It was fine. It felt like two friends that like are having an argument. They fight, but these pumpkin bombs got nerfed, bro. Like the first movie, they were making people into skeletons, and now it's just like Harry Osborn's face is just messed up. Like Harry Osborn must have weak ass pumpkin bombs that he left behind. Because as you mentioned, like the symbiote. The one thing is about Spider-Man is that my one complaint about this movie is that they make it where the symbiote like feeds aggression and stuff, but that's not what the symbiote really does. The symbiote just makes you more powerful, and the reason why Peter becomes cocky is because like when he says the symbiote changes you, it's like everyone's like, no dude, like you're just being a douche at that time. Like literally in the comics everyone goes, no, you're just being an asshole. That wasn't the symbiote feeding into you, because as we see when the symbiote goes to Eddie Brock, the symbiote doesn't make Eddie that type of person. It just gives Eddie the powers. Peter's just being a douchebag, and now that he has this enhanced strength, all this other powers that's surging through him, he's not pulling his punches anymore like he should. Because that's the one thing about because people forget Spider-Man's actually like super mega strong, like he's super duper strong. Yeah, and he always talks about how he said pull his punches so he doesn't actually break the jaws of the people that he's actually fighting.
It's such a great comic when Doc Ock gets his mind is put into Peter's body, and Peter loses control, like it's his conscious shunted away, and Doc Ock, like the superior Spider-Man, he's just like, I can do this job better than Parker can, and then he throws a punch at somebody and shatters their jaw, and he's like, oh shit, he's been holding back this whole time.
If you have not read the Superior Spider-Man, it's only 6 comics. Doc Ock is dying, and so he tricks Peter Parker into getting to his lab, and he takes over Peter Parker's body. And he's like, it's so good. It's such a good. It's like a 6-run series. It's definitely something to check out if you ever have spare time to read
that moment when Doc Ock just goes, oh, shit, for the past like 60 years, however long, time.
Time in this scene.
He's like, Peter's been holding back against us. He could have been beating the shit out of us this entire time.
You remember how excited he was? He was like, I cannot wait to actually feel what Mary Jane feels like. He was so excited about it. He was like. Damn, Doc Ock
he's got some issues.
But no, it's like that's the thing with the symbiote. That's the only thing that like I really dislike about this movie is that it portrays the symbiote in the wrong way, and it makes people think the symbiote. No, Peter Parker. This whole movie sets up showing that Peter Parker is a douchebag. Now he's an even bigger douchebag because he has more power. So he's losing the purpose of with great power comes great responsibility. He's lost the idea of what the word responsibility is. That's the whole thematic of this movie is that Peter Parker lost what gives him great power. And if that's responsibility, he doesn't have responsibility anymore because his symbiote has enhanced him. It's like if you like feel good and you're like after a workout, you feel invincible after a workout. You feel like, oh yeah, dude, my arms look good. Everything looks, I'm ready to go. You have that like nice little workout high for like 30 minutes. And then afterwards you go back down to earth and you go, oh, okay, I just had to pump. Peter Parker's having to pump all the time. Like he's just feeling good. And he's already a douchebag. and now the symbiote gives him more power, and he's like, oh yeah, I feel even better now. So yeah.
Well, the best way the movie can decide to show us this is Pete going through changes. And first, we got just a change in attitude. He's dancing down the street. He's doing the little finger guns at all the ladies, at everybody.
Oh no, he was slapping these ladies' asses.
we get the scene where he goes into the store, which it's still responsible Peter Parker because everything's on sale. And then he comes out with new clothes, new threads, and as Sid was alluding to, we get the little hand rolls and the pelvic thrusts and all that kind of fun stuff. Some weird shit happening there.
Meanwhile, Maguire's favorite scene as well. He loved this.
I bet he did.
Sure he did. Meanwhile,
this is the most life Tobey does show in the movie is doing this.
Yeah.
Eddie Brock has won the staff job because he has a photo of Peter or Spider-Man stealing money. And Peter shows up and is like, "What the fuck is this?" Mm-hmm. And he proceeds to expose Eddie for basically having photoshopped the photo, having
AI. He AI'd it.
He used like a stock photo or archive photo that Peter himself had taken, and then altered it so that it appeared as though Spider-Man was carrying the money. And not only does Eddie get fired and ruined, but also J. Jonah Jameson, the one thing he never wants to do, he has to print a retraction that says, "We messed up and Spider-Man didn't do the
sorry Spidey."
That's expensive too, man. Like,
yeah,
like printing a retraction. Because like I did a little not internship, I guess it's like more like freelance work. I did some freelance work for local paper here in the Ventura County area, and they messed up on this huge story, very, very bad that they messed up. So they had to reprint the papers that they already did, and that's yeah, it's not good, especially when you're a daily paper like the Ventura County Star. Oh, I just said their name. Who cares? They're not going to do anything about it anyways.
They're coming after you.
Yeah, right, dude. I know the fucking boss. He's cool, but dude, like. First of all, the photo that Peter originally had, that looked Photoshop. What the hell is this? Like, how did you Photoshop a Photoshop photo? Like, what are we doing here? I was very because that photo looked really nice. That was a very nice photo, but it looked Photoshop as hell. Like that. Like, how did J. Jonah Jameson allow this one? But then yeah, Eddie Brock lied. That's shame.
Meanwhile, Sandman reconstitutes. And we have our scene where Pete is going out with Gwen now. He's taking her out on a date. And where does he go? He takes her to the jazz club where MJ's working.
So see, before y'all were saying like the whole restaurant scene where he's trying to get married, he's being oblivious. Yeah. This is just evil.
Yeah, this is oof. This one's messed up because Gwen realizes, oh shit, he's like, isn't that your ex? Like, is this gonna, is this okay? And he's like, I'll be fine. He's like, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't give a shit about how MJ's just like, I'll be fine. There's that moment where when they first enter the jazz club and the hostess is like, do you guys have a reservation? He's like, find us a table near the action, hot legs. And then she's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Because earlier in the movie, when he was wearing the suit and being a little bit more confident, women were kind of like, oh wow, interesting. Mm-hmm. But then now we're seeing it's coming off way more creepily, and it's much more upsetting, and he has no idea of what's happening. They sit down at the table. Gwen is like, yeah, it's your girlfriend. He says he'll be fine, and Mary Jane's about to sing, and all of a sudden Pete just goes, give me a second. And he shows up and he starts playing on the piano, a little tinkling of the ivories, and all of a sudden he makes this entire moment or this event or this musical number about him and not about MJ. And he is dancing with Gwen, and finally when the song, for some reason the band just keeps playing, which was weird. But I was like, wait a minute, why would you just stop? Like, wouldn't you have stopped when you realized he's not supposed to be playing the piano and it's really upsetting our singer? But okay, they were like, we're in the moment. It's a jam session. So the dance ends and Gwen realizes what's going on. She's like, wow, I'm being made a fool of because I'm being used to get at MJ. And so she apologizes to MJ, storms out of there. MJ is back behind the bar, and Pete's like trying to talk to her, and the manager shows up as well as one of the bouncers, and he's like, you got to get out of here. And a fight breaks out, which culminates with Pete backhanding MJ and knocking her to the ground, Hank Pym style back in the comics. Sid, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts about the whole going through changes, the exposing Brock, and then the Jazz Club scene?
The exposing of Brock was very much a comeuppance that he deserved. It was kind of like a smaller version of the kind of the pride and then the fall for Peter, but this was kind of on a quicker version with Eddie Brock. Even though I'm just not interested in that storyline by this point of the movie at all, and it would become even more prominent, and it's just like, for what? Who cares? But as far as Peter with the ongoing changes and doing the dancing and everything, it's very memeable now, and it just comes off goofy because it doesn't fit in this movie whatsoever. And then finally, the whole performance and the restaurant scene. This is by far the most evil thing a superhero has done on film. He purposely did this to embarrass and humiliate and break the heart of MJ, because MJ turned down his proposal that he was too oblivious to see she got a whole lot of other things going on. Peter is the front runner for LVP by this point in the movie.
Chase, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, the Eddie Brock thing, it's almost like, you know, sometimes like when like wrestling Twitter, they'll argue, well, actually watch the show and stuff. It almost feels like with the Eddie Brock thing, it's like, well, did you read the comics? Did you watch the the animated show? You should know Eddie Brock's story by now. It's like they sped run his whole story. Like SPC's like, I didn't care at this point. Yeah, I wouldn't care either. He was like, what, in like 3 or 4 scenes? Yeah. He's like an asshole in most of them, but we don't really know why he's an asshole. He's just an asshole. And it's just, there's nothing likable, redeemable about Eddie Brock, nothing about why he needs this staff position. He just wants the staff position. Why? Why does he want the staff position? Is he back on rent? Is there something going on? Like every other Spider-Man villain, at least with Sandman, we know he has a sick daughter and stuff, so we know his layers. We know Doc Ock's layers. We don't know anything about Eddie. We just know he wants a staff position. And then it's just like, but it's like almost like this is what I hate when some people that really love Spider-Man 3, they'll be like, well, Eddie Brock's story, you should know that already. No, the whole point of this movie is so that way people can learn Eddie Brock's story. I can't just be like, oh, well, you got to just know the story of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins already. Like, no, I have to be watching the show. Like, what are we talking about? I have to know this story already. Like, that's why WWE's doing all these video packages right now, because they want to remind you of this bullshit. That's what the thing with Eddie Brock. You got to give us a reason why Eddie Brock is such a douche. But there's no reason. There's nothing. And then he just gets kicked out. He just gets fired. And it's like, who cares? Like as we just said, like, who cares? Like, why should I care about Eddie Brock getting fired? Like, this guy, besides the name Eddie Brock, why should I care? This is like literally just like, hey, we have a character that's going to play a villain. And you know who that villain is because of his name, right? Right? So here he is. And it's like, who cares? And then, what a dick move. Not only going there with your new girl, but then upstaging her at work. You pretty much are just saying fuck you to her, man. Like Peter Parker. I can't believe he's making me defend MJ in this movie. MJ has only done one thing to piss me off this movie. And I cannot believe it. This guy, he's just such a dick. And then he slaps her. Great work punch by Tobey Maguire there. Like it looked real to me. I literally thought he clocked Kirsten Dunst in the scene. I was like, oh shit, watching that live too and stuff. And then one scene that actually gets deleted. So he when he's in the alleyway, he looks into the mirror, like after he gets out of the bar, and then Venom jump scares him. So there was a Sam Raimi jump scare that did not get in there. It's in the collector's DVD. It scared the shit out of me. It's scarier than any of the other Venom jump scares because he's literally looking in the mirror after what he realized what he did, and he looks at himself and he sees his hair. He looks disgusted, and all of a sudden, and just jumps out of nowhere. And he goes, oh, and then he goes to the church. But that was a deleted scene in there.
Well, as Chase was alluding to, we get our culmination of the Venom storyline for Peter, where he has now realized he really is messed up. And a lot of this is because of this suit. So he is standing. He is attached to he's hanging off the side of this church. He had earlier told Eddie Brock, if you, I think it was like, if you want forgiveness, get religion or something like that. So Eddie has also shown up to this church in order to pray, and it's a great. It's one of the. I always like this scene just from the Eddie Brock perspective, just because he's like, God, I'm only asking you for one thing: kill Peter Parker. I'm like,
Kill Peter
oh,
Parker.
but like, I mean, okay, like,
it's worth a shot, I guess.
Dude, not even Harry Osborn did that. He didn't go to the fucking church and be like, please kill Spider-Man, God.
And he's like, all right. Really, really, really early on in the movie, we had a scene where Pete is being a science nerd, and he's talking to MJ about when she's having that first bad review. He's talking to her about sound diffusion and how it propagates and waves can move out and how it can affect how people hear and all sorts of interesting things. He's in the belfry of the church, and he's trying to get the suit off, and the suit refuses to get off. And as he's struggling, he knocks against the church's bell, and the sound, the reverberation of the bell being rung really fucks up the symbiote. And we do, like, if it's a very that sound propagation thing early in the movie, it's like a blink and you miss it kind of thing, that now we realize, okay, this is some little bit of like seeds being planted, where now the bell being rung, he keeps knocking against it, and it's allowing him to be able to pull the symbiote off. However, Eddie Brock is like, why is the bell being rung? And so he walks over from the pew that he was praying in for Peter to get killed, and is then underneath the belfry looking up, and he's like, is that Peter Parker? And the symbiote, meanwhile, is dripping down onto Eddie Brock. And in a really cool sequence, the symbiote fully bonds with Eddie Brock, and like the latching on of his face, he gets the fangs and everything like that. And this is where my problem was with this. You would think he would immediately try to kill Peter Parker, but no, he just leaves. But on top of that, the movie decides to waste the first full Venom reveal for him going to find Sandman to be like, I hate Parker, you hate Spider-Man, we both hate him, let's just kill him together. Very, very, very weird to me. But Chase, what were your thoughts on the Belfry scene? Really, the infamous Peter removing the symbiotes scene from the comics, and then Sandman and Venom deciding to team up.
I do love the belt scene, just in general, but there's an issue with this movie because they don't explain how sound is a weakness to the fucking symbiote. In the novel, the Spider-Man 3 novel, Dr. Connors actually calls Peter Parker while he's being a douchebag and stuff, dancing around and stuff through the streets, and says, hey, you know that alien thing you gave me? I actually found out when I was playing loud music, it did not like it. And Peter remembers that when he's trying to figure out how to get rid of the suit, that he needed a loud sound vibration to get rid of it and stuff. So I hate that they do not explain this, because I had so many people, when they watched this movie first time, how did Venom lose like that? I don't understand how Venom lost like that, because they just think Venom is the Hulk and he doesn't have any weaknesses. No, his weakness is sound and fire. That's like the most obvious things that the symbiotes are weak to, are sound and fire. So the fact they didn't explain it in this movie, it's a really well shot scene. It's really good. I love Topher Grace being a fucking hater and saying like, please kill Peter Parker. That's one of the most hater shit I've ever seen in a movie. But I hate that they don't explain it. Like, I know it sounds stupid to say I hate that, but I really do. I just hate that they don't explain that that's one of the symbiote's weaknesses, because that's something that you should explain to the audience so they know why it works, instead of the audience having to pick it up on their own. Not everyone's going to know this shit. Like, you have to explain this to people, and stuff. And then, yeah, wasting it, and not only wasting it, but he doesn't even talk as Venom. He literally, the mask comes out, he goes, hey, I hate Parker, you hate Parker. And it's like, no, you have to say, we hate Parker, because Venom is you and Venom. We. That's the most core thing you have to do as Venom, is say we. not I. And so this is the part of the movie I don't like. I just hate everything about it. Yeah, this is the part. Yeah.
Sid, what were your thoughts on this?
I'll be honest with y'all. I could probably talk about the rest of this movie in like the next 2 minutes. This movie just fell off a cliff, and Topher Grace as Venom is one of the worst comic book portrayals of a villain or superhero I've ever seen. And it doesn't get any better the rest of this movie. And the final act of this movie is more dedicated to the anti-hero who turns babyface and then once again is proven to be a dork.
To your point, my notes from here on out is Pete dash Aunt May. Pete tries to convince Harry. Fight happens. Harry dies. Funeral.
That's basically the rest of the movie. That's like I said, like the movie it's over. The movie could have ended after Peter got rid of the symbiote, took the symbiote suit off, and they could have set up for Spider-Man 4. We didn't need any the rest of this movie. We didn't.
And you know what sucks about the Venom reveal too? They spoiled it in the trailer, so everyone was expecting this much sooner. Like for villains in movies, you have to show them early. If you're going to show it in the trailer, they have to be within the first 30 minutes. You cannot have it where a villain reveal is shown in the trailer and it's near the end of the fucking movie. Like this was one of the main selling points of the trailer. So you're telling me I have to wait like an hour and a half for the villain? I know everyone's gonna be like, well, Chase, you guys watch wrestling. You guys, that's different. We're paying for the fact that we know what a main event is. We're paying to go to this movie because we expect Venom. We're expecting Venom to be the main villain, but he's barely in the movie. He doesn't have any runtime, but he's the main selling point to the fucking movie. So you have to that's like if we watched Infinity War, we saw Thanos in the trailer, and then we're like, hey, where's Thanos? He'll be at Wakanda. Yeah, but when do we see him? At Wakanda. I told you, Wakanda. That's when he shows up.
This is the Infinity War, though.
Yeah, but you're gonna watch all his dweebs fight everyone else. But instead, you know what Marvel did? Like Thanos first thing he says, run from it, dread it, destiny arrives. All saying as he's giving the strongest Avenger hands, and then the Hulk makes the Hulk the bitch the rest of the movie. Like, oh my god, that's how you introduce a fucking villain and stuff. But yeah, I know, like the one of the worst things though, after Peter, apologizes, he doesn't even apologize, just like says, like, come, you gotta help me, Harry. You gotta help me fight to save MJ. The butler comes out. Could have said this at any fucking time.
Yo, he could have the last 2 hours of the film.
The crazy shit of this is like the butler's like, I've seen some weird things in this house. I've seen some weird shit. Your dad being weird? That was the weirdest shit I've seen.
But the butler going, your dad died at the hands of his own glider. Spider-Man was just bringing the body back so we could bury it properly. And I'm like, why did you tell me this?
Like one film ago.
Not only that, not only does could the butler have told him this at any point in time, but what the butler says doesn't actually prove what the butler intends, because as we saw in No Way Home, you could easily have hit Goblin with the glider yourself. That's what that's what Tom Holland's Peter was going to do. So just the idea that he was impaled by his own blades doesn't mean that Peter's innocent. It just means that he was impaled by his own blades.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm like, wait, why did he have to say this? Like, what was the point? Like, did this actor was like, Sam, I'm not getting any lines. All right, fuck it, we'll give you a line.
You'll be the one who reveals it.
Sam's like, I'm not doing Spider-Man 4 anyway, so fuck this, I'm done and stuff. But the final fight too, it just feels so soulless. It doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same soul as the last two final fights in Spider-Man 1 and 2. It just feels
manufactured.
Yeah, it feels like, when you watch a wrestling show and they're like, all right, our main event is a battle royale. And it's like, what? Why? It's just a battle royale. What does the winner get? We'll find out next week. What do you mean next week? Tell us now. And we don't know. And then Obafemi wins the battle royale. And you're like, oh, what does Obafemi get? Then later on next week, we learn he gets a title shot. And then Brock Lesnar comes out and he goes, I don't want title shot anymore. And it's like, then why do we have the battle royale? That's how
like they did something like that.
I know, right? Wow.
But this time it was over multiple weeks.
Yeah. No, No, but this was just like, it was just there just because, well, it's a superhero movie. We have to have a final fight. And it's like, no, you don't really need to always have a final fight. Sometimes you can just end it off of like Sid said, just imagine the final shot we see is Venom. Yeah, people have been disappointed to see Venom, but then at least then we could say like, okay, now we're laying the groundwork to Spider-Man 4. This felt like, all right, let's just get this shit over with and stuff. Let's just like, I will say I do like Giant Sandman. That's cool. Other than that,
yeah,
Venom
like,
being
honestly, the only like important part of the final fight is when when Sandman tells Peter, I didn't actually kill Uncle Ben, in the sense that he was standing there holding the gun. Uncle Ben was trying to help him. The other robber from the first movie that we always thought was the murderer, he shows up and kind of like bumps into Sandman and the gun goes off. Like that's basically the only thing that's really important. And then, as Sid said, like Harry goes from anti-hero, he has a babyface turn.
Sandman's
really about
Sandman's an idiot.
and then he dies.
And then he does.
Yeah, but Sandman's an idiot. First of all, like, how is he not putting that on safety if Uncle Ben's talking to him? Like, what is he doing? He's
What's a revolver? A revolver's on.
He couldn't prepare like that.
Yeah, I guess. And then Peter just goes, "I forgive you," and Sandman just fades away. We will never see you again until No Way Home, buddy. Thanks for your service.
That's one of the other things where I'm like, yeah, like, you know, what as I was watching the movies, rewatching them, I'm like, all right, so that's the moment when Doctor Strange's spell kicked in. And then with Sandman, I was like, he wasn't about to die.
Yeah. Maybe it rained.
I was like, what is going on?
Maybe it rained right after he became the cloud, the sand cloud. It was raining, and that's when Doctor Strange is.
We'll never know. But
yeah, we'll never know. But
that brings us to our conclusion of Spider-Man 3. We have completed the original trilogy.
Oh, you forgot the great ending where Peter,
Peter,
who never got forgiveness for anything that he did, they just danced together at the end.
Yeah.
They never came to any type of resolution. Peter never made amends. Peter never showed that he learned the lesson of listening to how Mary Jane feels. They're just going to continue on their toxic fucking saga of a relationship.
Hey,
Thank God there wasn't a Spider-Man 4. God damn, this relationship fucking sucked. This is one of the worst relationships in superhero film history.
Peter Man sounds like my tribal chief. He doesn't have to apologize for anything. Everyone just forgives him. They're like, Roman, throw up the one. So Spider-Man 4, so Raimi pretty much did not get Spider-Man 4 because he wanted the Vulture, and they were like, no, we want the Lizard as the next villain. And Raimi just said, I quit. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this anymore. And funny enough, the next movie, who's the main villain? The Lizard. So Sony got what they wanted at the end and stuff.
It would have made sense too, because they've had Connors in all three movies, or references to Connors in all three movies.
Actually, in the Spider-Man 3 video game, you actually fight the Lizard in the Spider-Man 3 Lizard. It's actually like one of the more memeable things from the video game. J. Jonah Jameson, actually voiced by J.K. Scott, goes, Parker, there's giant lizards all over the town. I need pictures of them immediately. Giant lizards. And then later on, you have to go take pictures of the lizard, and you fight the lizard as the black suit Spider-Man and stuff. And then you realize it's Dr. Connors. Like, sometimes the video game, like Spider-Man 3, the video game is actually way better than Spider-Man 3, the movie and stuff. It's actually really fun and stuff.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's actually,
it doesn't take much. That's a low, that's a low floor to Eclipse.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like Spider-Man 4, like they were supposed to introduce Black Cat, do all this other stuff, but yeah, just never happened and stuff. But now we know why at No Way Home their relationship's so bad. These two are just not meant to be with each other.
But let's get into it. We'll do MVP and LVP. I'm not 100% certain who I should make the MVP because everybody kind of sucks in this.
Everyone kind of sucks in this film. You know what? To balance things out, I'm gonna give it to MJ. I'm gonna go with, oh man, who
it's just like everybody has like way too much drawback against them. Aunt May, like
I was gonna say I was also gonna say her, but
she had good advice, and then later Pete comes back to her and is like, "Here, take the ring back," because like we're not. Yeah, I don't know if I can even give an MVP for this. It's tough. Chase, who's your MVP? I think you may have frozen.
Chase is frozen. Go figure. Go figure what we're giving the grades. We're giving the grades for the movie. He gonna freeze.
Oh man. But we'll get his MVP in a second when he rejoins. But Sid, who's your LVP?
I mean, there's so many good choices. There's Peter. Peter is a big candidate who I think deserves more credit for how bad he is in this film. But it's definitely Harry. Harry, they just kept saying, "You're a fucking dork. Sit your ass down."
Honestly, like his plan wasn't terrible until like his plan once he regained like the memories, like his plan wasn't terrible, and like the idea of get MJ to break up with Peter, then be like reveal yourself, like it kind of made sense, but I can see the argument for him to be LVP. Chase, who was your MVP for the movie?
Yeah, Sid said like MJ was MVP. No shit, my computer just crashed. I was like, oh no, MJ was MVP. It was just like, I gotta pass on you, Chase. It was so funny at the timing of it because he goes, I gotta give MVP to MJ, and then all of a sudden my computer just made a weird noise and it just crashed on me. I was like, oh my god, it couldn't handle the MJ glaze. MVP. Oh, dude, honestly, it's so hard in this movie. I don't feel like there is an MVP, to be honest.
Give one to somebody.
Yeah, like if I were to give MVP, maybe to Sam Raimi to sticking out to actually producing this movie, even though he didn't want to. I have to give it to Sam Raimi. I mean, he didn't want to do Venom. He's like, fuck, do I have to do this? All right, that's fine. I'm gonna give it to Sam Raimi. But if I have to give it to an actor in this movie, in the movie, I guess I'll give it to Gwen Stacy. She seems very level-headed out of all the characters in the movie.
Who's your LVP?
Oh man, Peter Parker, man. This guy. I thought MJ. I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game in this movie. I thought you were just going to be horrific. But yeah, no, Peter. It's just the worst version of Peter Parker. Something that you don't want to remember about Peter Parker at all. So he's LVP. I think that SP3 said Harry, and Harry is definitely up there as LVP because he's just such a loser in this movie. Amnesia, getting a bomb thrown in his face, and then just being told that his dad died at his own hands makes him all of a sudden be like, yeah, let me forget my best friend. They're like, what?
Well, let's, for Spider-Man 3, we're going to do the old thumbs in the middle.
Did you give your LVP, John?
Oh, LVP, I'm going to also go with Peter. Peter, because you can't just like, you can't backhand your girl. You can't be doing all this. You can't be kissing other women in front of your girl. That's insane. That's insane. True. But we're going to do thumbs in the middle on 3, 2, 1. But as before we get into the actual numbers, as Chase knows, I do love my spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I do love my spreadsheets. So, Chase, what are you giving Spider-Man 3?
A nice 6 out of 10.
A 6. All right.
That comes in the middle on this channel, right? 6 out of 10 is not.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's thumbs up or not. So yeah, 6 out of 10. Like, I don't hate this movie as much as other people. I know it's a bad movie. Like, I can recognize this. There's bad movies I like. Like X-Men Apocalypse is bad, but I like that movie for its own reasons and stuff. Like it's fine. It doesn't upset me as much. It's the final act that upsets me more than anything else. I do like the storytelling of Peter being this super duper douchebag. Like I don't get as mad as most people, but I understand someone like SP3 who probably fucking hates it for that reason. So like I'm cool with that. Like I respect other people's opinions. I'm not like, oh, well, you're like, no, like you hate it because of that. 100% agree. For me, I find it like very, very daring that they tried it. I just don't like the final act of this movie at all. It just feels so soulless. It's boring. There's nothing except we didn't even take time to talk about it. We were just like, yeah, let's just fucking wrap up and give our MVPs and LVPs. That's how bad the final act is. This is a big fight in a superhero movie. We should be spending time talking about how we didn't even talk about Venom died. We're just like, yeah, he died. It's like, move on. like this is literally like when you get to that, like it was just like, oh yeah, Dolph Ziggler and the Miz are main eventing. What? All right, let's just move on. Let's just talk about something else.
Which is wild considering literally a movie ago we were over the moon about the subway scene. Just the subway fight scene alone. And now we're just like, okay, so yeah, they fought and then stuff happened. And all right.
Yeah, we were
in my notes I didn't even put down that Venom died.
Bro, we talked more about Harry getting the amnesia fight than we did the final fight. That shows how bad that final fight was. Like dude, we literally spent 10 minutes and 15 minutes on the subway and the bank scene in number 2. And in the final fight, we were like, yeah, all this bullshit happened and yeah, we're good.
Sid, what's your number score for Spider-Man 3?
Chase, he made me realize something. This is a thumbs down movie. This is a 5.5. This is a 5.5 out of 10. Like, this shit, it goes off a fucking cliff. Like, I've never seen this. But before this, I had never seen a superhero movie that was going along so smoothly and just falls off of a cliff from a narrative perspective, from a character's perspective. The writing is off. The performances of the actors and actresses don't feel like their best work. Like, it's not a good movie. It's not even thumbs in the middle. It's a thumbs down. It's 5.5.
I'm going to give this one... I'm going to go with a 6 as well. This is just, it's just so annoying because we had, like, you guys gave 9.5s. I gave a 9. To go from that to the, because imagine, right? Like, the time frame from 2004 to when this movie came out, everyone's just like, okay, Spider-Man 3 is going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. Yes. They have not missed. They have not missed. And then all of a sudden they're like, we miss.
We miss.
Because this movie right here, it's like one of the ones you can't even it's not that rewatchable either. Like, even though I like the movie, like it's not like if I skim the channels, if I see it's on the channels, I'm like, okay, let's go find Armageddon. I'm gonna watch that over Spider-Man 3. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think this is the first time I rewatched it since I was a kid.
Oh, really? Yeah. Like everyone thinks I rewatched it so many times. I've only rewatched it 8 times and stuff. Like
that's 8 times. Way more.
I like most of them were like with the director's commentary because I love those I love when DVDs used to have those director's commentary. That was like the main thing for me. Like, I just love knowing the insides and stuff. So that's probably the main reason why I rewatched it and stuff. But yeah, no, this movie is just, it's rough. But man, Sid, I cannot wait to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2. That, you talk about falling off a cliff. That one just lets the train fall off the rail tracks, and Vin Diesel doesn't even stop it, man. He's just like, okay, let's just go. We're just gonna have it fall into the ocean.
One of the sad parts is that based off of the goodwill of the first 2 movies, this is the highest grossing one out of the trilogy. it just shy of $900 million. But from a Rotten Tomatoes standpoint, Spider-Man 1, 90%, Spider-Man 2, 93%, Spider-Man 3, 63%.
That makes sense.
Well, you know what's crazy too about this movie? It could have made a lot more because like word of mouth, I think, is still important when it comes to movies. Oh yeah. And I think a lot of people were just saying, yeah, you don't need to go see Spider-Man 3. It's like look at the Odyssey right now. Everyone be talking about the Odyssey, and so people are like, even if you're not interested in it, you're like, maybe I should go check out the Odyssey. By the way, terrific movie, the Odyssey, 9.5 out of 10. But the thing is like this one got such a bad rep because people went to go see like I'm curious, John, about like the weekend opening. Like, you know how we talked about Spider-Man 2 had like the fastest in like 7 days. I bet you the numbers went dipping down after like the opening weekend, because you were like, yeah, you don't need to see this one, compared to like Spider-Man 2 where it's like you got to see this one and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the opening day, the opening weekend, it set an opening weekend record with 151.1 million, surpassing Dead Man's Chest and 300 respectively. Upon release, it was ranked first at the box office. During its second week, its gross declined by 61.5%.
See, word of mouth, because people were saying this movie ain't that good. Because it's like the Marvel. It's like because we're all Marvel fans, right? And we go opening weekend. We see all the Marvel movies, whether they're good or bad, opening weekend. But you know when a Marvel movie not doing well, when people are like not talking about it, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I can just wait till it comes on Disney Plus. Like that's how I was with no Thunderbolts. I saw live in theaters. Fantastic Four I saw in theaters, but that's how it was with like Captain America: Brave New World. I was just like, I don't want to wait till this comes on Disney Plus. Like, do I really need to go see this?
The Marvels for
Yeah.
sure, the Captain Marvel sequel.
Yeah. I was gonna say Eternals was like that for me.
Oh, how do you have this cast and you mess this up? Like, oh my goodness! And you know what's sad about the Eternals? They don't even care about those motherfuckers. Like they're gone. Like they're just like, what
They're
job?
done. They're done. Yeah.
But that's going to do it for us talking about Spider-Man 3. We have, like I said, we have concluded the Sam Raimi trilogy. We're going to be moving on to the Marcus Webb duology, I suppose, of Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2. So, Chase, please tell the people where they can find you.
On X at Chase Oliver 68, around the point, and here on True Heat Sports Entertainment.
And Sid, as I keep saying, they can find you everywhere, but let them know where you're going to be popping up next.
True Hill SP3, that's a hub where I share all my content. True Hill Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. You can see me on AE Ramble, Rated Raw Review, and the True Hill Heat flagship podcast, as well as previews and reviews for all the major shows and tournaments. And here on the channel, got the Power Book 3 Raising Kanan Season 5 reviews that we do live on Wednesdays. We also been doing the Shy. We got the Shy Season 8, the final season of that show we're reviewing on the channel as well. And then, of course, X-Men 97 Season 2. Every single Sunday, we do a live show to review that as well. So plenty of great content. Let's continue on the march to 1,000 subscribers.
And you guys can always catch me here on the True Hill Heat Sports Entertainment channel, breaking everything down when it comes to the NFL with my guy Chase over here. Having a true off season. We're getting closer and closer. Training camp is starting for a bunch of teams, and the rest of them are going to be right at the tail end of July. And then also we have clocking in for the pit. We are getting through all the episodes of season 2. We are putting a little bit of a pause in this because we wanted to bring you guys all of the Spider-Man movies. So we'll be picking that up towards the end. And I know Sid, you were telling me you gotta hold on to when you can watch the pit. So interestingly, it'll be timed perfectly, I think, for when you're able to catch the finale. But this has been a wonderful experience. This was a trilogy of movies that for all of us, like, I mean, 02, 04, 07, we were growing up, we were becoming adults during this time period. It had a really big effect on all of us, and effect on comic book movies in general. Really kind of set the tone for how these movies should go and how trilogies could go. It also reinforced that sometimes in comic book trilogies, the third movie will be the weakest, because X-Men Last Stand does exist compared to the other two.
Oh god! And then Dark Phoenix in the new saga. Well, did that count as the fourth movie, or is Apocalypse the third movie?
That's the fourth. Really.
Okay, it's even worse for that one.
Apocalypse is not good either. So.
Yeah, that's another bad movie. Like, I like it, but I'm not like in love with it. It's just like I like the Quicksilver scene and then all that other junk.
And the ending. I just like the ending where when Jean Grey like fully becomes Phoenix like that.
And then I knew it was downhill after since, man. Look.
Yep.
But we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what your favorite part or least favorite part was of this movie. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, like Sid said, we are on the march towards 1,000 subscribers. And if you're not subscribed, we'd love to have you join us on the journey of this channel. So for myself, for Sid, for Chase, this has been the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment review of Spider-Man 3. Remember, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll catch you all next time.